I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting of trustees for Monday, December 3rd, 2018. Let the record reflect that it is 6:48. If can you take the roll call, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Muhammad?
Here.
Trustee Stubbs?
Here.
Trustee House?
Here.
Trustee Denton? Trustee Pearson?
Here.
Trustee Henyard?
Present.
There's a quorum. All members of the council are here. Next thing on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. If you could stand, please. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you will remain standing, I'll ask Trustee House to lead us in prayer tonight.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today just to say thank you. Thank you for another opportunity to do your will and to serve your people. We ask that you oversee this meeting, and we know that all things that come out of this meeting have already been ordained by you, so we know that good, bad, and otherwise has been for your purpose and your intention, and we ask that it be for the betterment of this community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, the first thing on the agenda tonight is the presentation by Chief Brandon Dyer for the Department Unit Citation Awards and Individual Commendation Awards. And then we're going to actually move up an item of old business, the promotion of firefighter to engineer, Anton Downey and Ian Cosgrove. Chief Dyer, did you want to?
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, Madam Clerk, citizens, Village of Dalton. Today we are here to honor some of the firemen of the Village of Dalton by giving them awards. Awards are important symbols of public recognition for rewarding heroism and valor, exceptional meritorious service, and outstanding achievement in other acts of service. These acts of service distinguish between individuals and units amongst performance of similar acts of service. During the month of November, the management team and I reviewed outstanding job performances which have been conducted throughout the course of the calendar year. Tonight we have 3 emergency incidents that have made significant differences in the lives of residents of the Village of Dalton, Harvey, and Riverdale. The first citation award occurred on September 29th, 2018. On this fateful afternoon, the Dalton Fire Department responded to a reported structure fire at 15528 South Dobson Avenue, Dalton, Illinois. In addition to the response from the Dalton Fire Department, automatic aid companies and responding companies included Cal City, Riverdale, South Holland Fire Departments. The Dalton Fire Department responded to an average of 50 structure fires a year within the corporate boundaries of the Village of Dalton. The majority of the fires are handled with little incident and are relative to our normal response procedures. Unfortunately, on this particular morning, the Dalton Fire Department faced with a complex scenario that requires swift decision-making based on situational awareness. The initial responding Dalton Fire Department crew that consisted of engineer Robert Trimster and firefighter Anton Downing put their years of dedicated training to test. Based on the proximity of their address, the crew was fortunate enough to be responding from an EMS incident 2 blocks away when they responded to a reported fire was dispatched. The experienced crew of 2 were able to get on the scene of the working fire with a woman trapped inside the dwelling. Without hesitation, Engineer Trimster went to the door and initiated forcible entry techniques to gain entry inside the building of the trapped woman inside the burning house. Simultaneously, firefighter Downing pulled a hose line to contain the fire to the affected area, limited the flow of turbulent smoke and superheated gases, reducing the chance of flashover. Within minutes or so, Engineer Trimster was able to force the door open and remove the subject out of the home without further incident. Within moments, the remaining fire companies dispatched to the incident arrived on the scene and assisted with the fire extinguishment, additional search and rescue techniques, and ventilation. The coordinated efforts between the fire suppression companies and the search and rescue team, the incident command system, and the emergency medical service shows how the system works when we're all working together. Due to the proximity of the first responding Dalton fire crew, they were able to save a life by gaining entry and extinguishing the fire within moments of receiving a call. Due to the prompt response and decision-making of Dalton Fire Department Company 16, this Monday, December 3rd, 2018, the Village of Dalton and Dalton Fire Department is awarding the unit citation to firefighter Anton Downing and engineer Robert Trimster. They'll receive a certificate and a ribbon.
Hold the sound. One, two. One more time. 1, 2. Got it.
If I could have Lieutenant Duvall, Lieutenant Cole, and Engineer Brim, if he's present. The second unit citation occurred September 13th, 2018. On this particular morning, the Dalton Fire Department responded to a reported structure fire at 13719 South Stewart in Riverdale. In addition to the response of the Riverdale Fire Department, the Dalton Fire Department and additional automatic aid companies responded: Cal Park, Harvey, Phoenix, South Holland. The Dalton Fire Department responds to an average of 75 mutual aid fire structure fires per year. On this particular morning, the fire companies were faced with a complex scenario of a working apartment building fire that required multiple searches and rescue efforts. Based on the size of the building, a 3-story, 6-unit apartment building, the Dalton crew of 3 was tasked with beginning with the objective of assisting initial Riverdale fire companies with extinguishment and search and rescue operations. The experienced crew consisted of Lieutenant Dave Duvall, Lieutenant Jeremy Cole, and Engineer Jamil Brim. Were able to rescue multiple subjects hanging out of windows with the basket of the Dalton tower ladder within minutes. With Lieutenant Cole in control of the tower ladder, Engineer Brim assisted in raising ground ladders to the windows to help with the removal of residents in the building who are becoming overwhelmed with the increasing smoke conditions. Lieutenant Duvall was inside the building assisting the initial Riverdale crews with the extinguishment of the fire and search and rescue operations. Again, the coordinated efforts between the fire suppression companies, the search and rescue team, the incident command, and the emergency medical services show how the system works when we're all working together to complete the mission statement of saving lives and protecting property. Due to the uses of our special operations equipment, the Dalton Tower Ladder crew was able to save multiple lives by multitasking and performing multiple tactical objectives at the scene of the structure fire. Due to the prompt response and decision-making of the Dalton Fire Truck 15, this Monday, December 3rd, 2018, the Dalton Fire Department the Village of Dalton, the Dalton Fire Department is awarding the unit citation award to Lieutenant Dave Duvall, Lieutenant Jeremy Cole, and and Engineer Jeremy Brim. Lieutenant Manning to the front, please. The third award for the evening is their Individual Accommodation Award that occurred September 17th, 2018. On this particular evening, the Dalton Fire Department responded to a reported structure fire at 14612 Center, Harvey, Illinois. In addition to the response from the Harvey Fire Department and Dalton Fire Department, the additional automatic aid companies responded included Phoenix, Posen, and the Markham Fire Department. Due to search and rescue operations and life-saving measure decisions making of Dalton Fire Truck 15 this Monday, December 3rd, 2018. The Village of Dalton and the Dalton Fire Department is awarding the individual commendation to the Dalton Fire Department Lieutenant Daniel Manning. An individual commendation is described as an award that is presented to an individual who performed and exhibited exceptional skill and coordinated actions. The award is presented to an individual who had demonstrated exceptional skills, proficiency, dedication to duty while operating under extreme emergency incident conditions. When arriving on the scene of the house fire, Lieutenant Manning instructed Engineer Robert Morgan to assist the Harvey engineer with obtaining water supply and then proceeded to the rear of the building since the initial Harvey fire companies were entering the building in the front door. Lieutenant Manning encountered heavy fire and smoke conditions while doing a walk around of the building. According to Lieutenant Manning's summary report, as I checked the house door, I found it was unlocked. It would not open, so I pushed to see how far so I pushed on it and saw the outline of an arm in the door gap. I pushed the door enough to see an unconscious male victim wedged in a bike and a spare bike wheel with his leg pinned between the door and the floor. After another radio transmission for help, I began removing the debris from the victim. I was able to free the victim from the bicycle debris, at which time I made the decision to pull hard and I could feel which freed the victim's leg from the wedged door. At this time, I used a dummy drag technique and brought the victim around the house through the side yard until I reached the fence. I heard command call for an ambulance crew. When they saw me, I laid the victim in the yard and began CPR until he was revived. Lieutenant Daniel Manning's skill and courage saved a person's life. The crews on the fire scene were later informed that the victim was successfully revived and talking with the hospital crew within hours of the incident. The incident demonstrated the dual role functions of firefighter EMT, and as a group, we need to give everyone recognition tonight. A round of applause. Not only is Lieutenant Manning getting an individual award, but he's also going to get an award that we have called a Clinical Resuscitation Award. A Clinical Resuscitation Award is awarded to a sworn department member involved in a successful resuscitation effort of a pulseless patient. Recipients of the Clinical Resuscitation Award may include members of the fire company, the EMS company, and associated incident, as well as 911 dispatch. So he's going to get two. He's an overachiever. So he's going to get 2 awards tonight. Before you go, like I said, he's an overachiever. Lastly, the Village of Dalton, in accordance with the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA, would like to formally recognize Lieutenant Daniel Manning's successful completion of the National Fire Academy Executive Fire Officer Program. The Executive Fire Officer Program is a 4-year program that requires 8 weeks of classroom training at the National Fire Academy in Maryland, as well as substantial individual applied research towards fire service leadership objectives. Congratulations, Lieutenant Daniel Manning, on completing the highest level of the fire service education at the national level. Engineer Brim. Engineer Brim was involved in the second rescue that we mentioned. He just walked in the door, so give him a round of applause. Keep your hands out. Last but not least, we want to give an appreciation award out. A few months ago, we were concentrating on getting some new equipment, AEDs, and we had a board meeting and we talked about some things. And I came to work a couple of days later, and we had a check that a citizen had given us. In the meantime, I had already been working on a grant, so we obtained the grant, we got the AEDs, so we had this money. I wanted to use his money to buy the AEDs, but we got a grant, so I had to go meet him one night. I said, hey, we have this money. We have these AEDs already. We got a grant, so I'm gonna have to give you your money back. And what he told me was, no, I want you to use that money to buy whatever you want in the fire service. And I very much appreciated that. And with that money, we bought some life-saving equipment and some turnout gear. Gloves and hoods. We wear these gloves and hoods in the fires. These hoods protect us from getting burned. And you know, we have to change these hoods out often because the cancer or the carcinogens get around the hood, and you have to wash them and they get old or whatever. So that was a plus. We also had a saw that we bought. A rescue saw, a brand new rescue saw. And that person that I'm talking about is here with us tonight, Mr. Garrett Jesse. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Jesse? Garrett Jesse.
One, two. One more time. 1, 2.
That's all for me tonight. Would you like to say something?
I'm kind of caught off guard on this, but I do appreciate it very much. And I've always supported, this is, as a lifelong resident of Dalton, this is something we've always supported, and as far as the police, fire. And I said if I can give you a little bit of extra help along the way, I says I'm more in favor of it. And I hope that everybody else would more or less support the fire and police like that also. That's all. Okay.
Firefighter Cosgrove, Firefighter Downing. Firefighter Cosgrove and Downing are here tonight. We're going to swear them in as engineers. Oh, promote them as engineers, I'm sorry.
Good evening, gentlemen. If you would raise your right hands, please, I will administer the oath of office. If you would repeat after me, I'm going to say aye, and then please state your names. I,
Ian Cosgrove. Anton Downing.
and please repeat further, having been appointed to the office of fire engineer
Having been appointed to the office of fire engineer
in the village of Dalton,
in the village of Dalton,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of fire engineer,
of the office of fire engineer,
village of Dalton,
village of Dalton,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
One, two. One more time. One, two.
If we could have everyone up who receiving the award, we're going to take some pictures with the trustees and the mayor. Everybody who got an award tonight, please come up. Promotions, awards.
Trustees, you come down in front. Everybody seem like you're shorter than everybody back there.
You sure you don't want short people in the front? Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy. Slide down.
Slide down a little bit.
Slide down.
Slide. Trustees, y'all can step up some. You behind Pierce, get right there. Right there. Step over right there. Yeah, I can see over everybody's face. All right. Everybody look this way. 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2. Got it. Thank you.
Chief Dyer. Chief,
Want to hear it? I don't know. Okay.
it's thick. Oh, he got it.
Oh. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is the fiscal 2018 audit that will be presented by,
Do the new hires?
Kirby? I thought you said we weren't going to do it to Jane.
I thought that with the board members here, with the fire department here, if the board wanted to vote old business D, it'd be a good time to do it now, unless you want to hold that off till January.
I make a motion, we do it tonight.
It's on the agenda.
And just,
Yeah, you don't need a motion. The mayor agrees to move it up, it can be moved.
yeah.
There's a motion on the floor for the hiring of 2 firefighters, and that's been put on by Chief Dyer. There's also a second on it. Any discussion on that, Chief? You want to say anything?
We had this discussion a couple of weeks ago about the new hires. It would do nothing but bring better service to the village, more manpower, less hours worked by some of the firemen we have. It would do nothing but benefit everybody in this room, from the firemen to the citizens of the village of Dalton. So that's all I really have.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Roll call.
I just wanted to add, Mayor, may I be recognized, sir?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add for the residents that were not at the Police and Fire Committee meeting and also the COW meeting, this is no additional money to the residents. We're moving funds from one area of overtime to cover regular salary, so there's no increase in the budget. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, roll call.
This was on the motion of trustee Mohammed, second by trustee Pearson, to approve the new hires that are next on the firefighter list. Trustee Mohammed.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries 6 ayes. When are we, Chief, when is the anticipation of those firefighters being hired?
Well, we're processing 2 of them right now, so we're hoping by the first meeting of January, we'll be able to swear them in.
Okay, thank you.
So we have 2 of them in processing right now. The third one, we made a phone call today, and he's going to go through processing, so hopefully they'll all be done by January 1st.
Okay, thank you. All right, next thing on the agenda is the fiscal 2018 audit, presented by Lauterbach and Amon.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Barron with Lauterbach and Amon, the audit partner that oversaw your audit again this year. Thank you for having me back here tonight to present the audit for this evening. It's for the April 30, 2018 audit. I believe everyone has copies in front of them. There's two documents in front of you. One is the audit report and the management letter. I'll go over and present both of these. As has been in the past, I would encourage you, if there's any point in time you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask along the way. I'm going to cover the high points along the way for the audit presentation, but please feel free to ask any questions as I go. So, is that me? Is that feedback from me? All right. Anyway, we'll start with the audit report as the first document. It's the thicker of the two bound documents. The one I'll take you through that bound report as part of my presentation. About 4 pages into this report is a page that looks like this. It has the Lauterbach and Amon letterhead on it. We gave the village a unmodified opinion again this year. It's the highest opinion that we do provide. Basically what that is saying is 3 things. 1, the numbers within this audit report are what they say they are. 2, there's an adequate internal control framework at the village to help prevent fraud. And 3, the audit report itself is in compliance with all government accounting standards. 2 pages after that is the management discussion and analysis. What this section is, it's a summary of everything that's within this audit report. You can kind of read through in a high level what happens. I'm going to be covering that within my presentation. Please flip past this whole section. And I'd like to take us all the way to the fund level financials, which would be past this MD&A section. You see MD&A 1, MD&A 2. Flip past MD&A 12, and we can go all the way forward to pages 7 and 8. On pages 7 and 8, they look like this. It's at the top right-hand corner. It says balance sheet, governmental funds. Like I said, I want to take us all the way to your fund level financials, the one that you guys do your budgets on. Yes, Trustee Pearson, 7 and 8. Like I said, this is your balance sheet for your governmental funds. Far right-hand column is where I like to take us to the grand totals. At the very bottom is your fund balance. Second number up from the bottom, in terms of all of your governmental funds, we have a total of $1.7 million of fund balance at the end of the year. The main fund that I want to talk about is your general fund, which would be your far left-hand column on page 7. Your general fund is your main operating fund. In total, across your fund balances for the general fund is at a minus $5.4 million at the end of the year. Ultimately, how you're at a minus $5.4 million, you can see in the middle there are these due to other funds and advances. Essentially, the general fund has been borrowing from other funds in order to continue its operations. There's about $8.2 million of total interfunds that need to be paid back. In terms of how we did this year for these funds, please flip forward to pages 10 and 11. 10 and 11 is your income statement. Far right-hand column is your totals. I'd like to take you to the third number up from the bottom on the far right-hand column. We had a total loss this year of about $1 million across all of your governmental funds. In terms of how that happened, again, I'll take us to the general fund and where we ended up. General fund had a total decrease during the year of $2.5 million. Basically, expenses exceeded your revenues by that much during this year. Any questions about your governmental funds before I flip forward to your business type, your water and your sewer funds? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that at the door there was a set of
Stephanie,
Yes, sir.
I say at the door there is a set of financial statements that was handed out there, and I hear everybody wrestling around on it with them. Those are the October 31st financial statements that I believe Trustee Muhammad will address in his report. This report is the April 30th audit. So these numbers are not the same numbers in the report that you're looking at. I know everybody's kind of wrestling around, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yes, this will be your fiscal year totals, and the one Trustee Muhammad will be going over. That's the point in time for October 31st of where you're at for the within the next fiscal year. Okay, flipping forward then to pages 13 and 14 to be your business type funds, where those are at. Your main business type funds are your water fund. In terms of your totals, again, I'd like to take us to the far right-hand column of page 14, the very bottom number in the far right-hand column, we're at a total fund balance of $913,000. Truly for water fund, however, I'd like to point out we're at a minus $1.2 million. For the liabilities within the water fund, you can see that number in the middle is at 8.7 million. That is predominantly what is owed to Chicago. Within the accounts payable, we have $7.3 million of accounts payable. Most of that, again, is what's owed to the city of Chicago. It needs to be paid, and part of the issue or the litigation that's going on with the city of Chicago. In terms of how we did this year, please go forward to page 15. Page 15, our totals is the far right-hand column on page 15. Third number up from the bottom, we had a total decrease of $6.2 million this year. Ultimately, why that happened was due to the sale of Dorchester. In terms of the accounting for that, ultimately caused there's additional capital assets that were upon the books that had to be written off based on the sale. Ultimately, that sale was a positive because the Dorchester kept losing money throughout the year. It had been a talking point at this board meeting for many years. So this is ultimately a positive thing that Dorchester was sold. In terms of how the water fund did for the year, we had a total decrease this year of about $400,000. Again, expenses exceeded whatever the revenues were at the end of the year. Any questions about these before I go into the management letter? All right, let's go forward to the management letter. So what the management letter is the two bound documents. What the management letter is, it's basically additional information that we provide to management for comments that don't quite fit within the audit report that we're looking to you to consider implementing to improve operations in different ways. Typically, we break these up into three basic categories of informational best practices we see in the industry or true internal control issues that we'd like to see implemented. We have two sections. One, the first section in here is current recommendations. What current recommendations mean? There's new management letter comments we're providing you this year. The second part of it is prior recommendations, which would be any of the recommendations we provided in the past with an update upon them of whether they've been implemented or not. We had three new management letter comments that we provided this year. I'll kind of walk through each of those for you since they're brand new for the year. First one being I-94 Sibley TIF closing. Ultimately, that TIF had come to a close in December of 2016. How the state, what you're supposed to do with the excess fund balance in that fund is to pay that back to then get distributed to the bondholders unless there's an intended use for that money. So at this point, it's been this long, so we called it out as a comment to truly reconcile and look into that fund of what needs to happen with the excess, the accumulated surplus at the end of the year, which is about $2.9 million at the end of 2018. The second comment is the use of loan proceeds. The village had taken out a installment contract that was to be used for various capital projects. Ultimately, parts of that loan that was received ended up being used for some operational kind of uses, like payroll and those types of items, which was not necessarily in line with what was within the installment contract. So it was just a comment to say, well, you need to use your loans for the purpose in which it's intended. And the last one being financial condition. I kind of covered that within the audit report presentation in terms of the negative fund balances and the continued decline in a couple of those two main significant funds when we're talking about the general fund and the water fund. But those need to be particularly reviewed as those funds continue to have fund balances growing negative. In terms of the rest of them, there were 13 prior ones. 3 I would consider implemented. Since I've presented on these in the past, I guess I wasn't necessarily going to go through all of them. I've been through them with current management in the past, and they are working on them as 3 have been implemented, which had to do with fund balance, the debt service fund balance and outstanding check policy and the overall bond defaults. Steps have been taken during the year to help prevent bond defaults from happening going forward for the village. And the rest, many of them have to do with some of the financial condition type items that are all kind of related. So, yes, sir.
Could you go over the recommendation you made for number 13 on the bond defaults and what your recommendation is for the segregated accounts?
You want me to go over that one?
Could you, so that
Yeah.
we can have clarity, so everyone
Absolutely.
can have clarity where we're at on that?
Basically, with the bond defaults, you guys may remember when I've presented in the past, the village had actually defaulted on a couple of their bond payments. What had happened in the steps that the village has taken in order to try to prevent that from happening? Number one, they opened up a separate restricted bank account for the money from the property taxes to go directly into, so it will only be used for those debt service payments. Second, the village did a transfer into that fund to eliminate the negative fund balance that was within the debt service fund, to provide it a fund balance within there to pay for future debt service. In addition, they had issued tax anticipation warrants to have money come in up front to pay for those bond payments, and then once the property taxes did come in, paid off those tax anticipation warrants. So it's not, in terms of the financial condition, there are still issues when it comes to payroll or cash flow. Anytime you have to issue tax anticipation warrants, but at the end of the day, the village had gone through the steps to be able to prevent the bond defaults from happening, which was a positive step.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions about the management letter or anything else within my overall audit presentation? The last thing I would just like to say, I'd like to thank Stephanie and her Kasperic team. I will say that this was the cleanest audit package that we have provided. We had the fewest journal entries that we have had. I thought the overall audit went as smooth as we've had since our time here. So I want to thank them for their hard work during this process. All right. Thank you, everybody. Great to see you.
Thank you. Okay, next thing on the agenda.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I just announce that it's some stickers on the table for people to pick up?
I'm sorry. What
I got a raffle going. I just want them to know they can pick it up. It's raffle tickets on the back table. If you guys want to join in this raffle, I'm giving away 2 items tonight. They're little red stickers, so you might want to pick them up if you want to be in the raffle. Thank you.
I'll go back and get mine now. Okay. Okay, next thing on the agenda is the village clerk's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the agenda tonight is request for approval of the minutes of the October 1st, 2018 regular board meeting.
Can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for October 1st, 2018.
It's been approved and seconded. It's been motioned and seconded for the approval of the minutes of October 1st, 2018. Any discussion on those? No discussion, roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Motion carries. 6 ayes. Next thing on the agenda is communications.
Thank you, Mayor. Residents, prior to the meeting, we distributed copies of one of the sheets. This is the Truth in Taxation Notice that is required by state statute before the Board of Trustees may consider the possibility of a tax increase. The hearing at which residents are invited to weigh in on the proposed tax increase will be next Monday at 5 p.m. here at the Village Hall. Following the tax hearing, there will be a special meeting of the Board of Trustees at 6 p.m. or if the hearing goes later, immediately following the hearing, at which the board will consider an ordinance to raise the property taxes for the village. So again, at 5 p.m., there will be a hearing in which residents are invited to speak to the board, and immediately following that hearing, there will be a special meeting of the board to vote on the proposed tax increase. Okay. December 10th, next Monday at 5 p.m. for the hearing, 6 p.m. or immediately following the hearing, whichever comes later, for the special meeting to vote on the proposed ordinance to raise the property tax. And those notices will be posted here at the Village Hall as well. But again, December 10th, 5 p.m. to start.
Mary Kay,
Okay.
I got a question under your communications.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an update for the board for the 3 referendum questions that was passed?
Yes, I believe it was November 15th at a special meeting, the Board of Trustees passed 3 resolutions for public questions to be submitted to the voters for the February 26, 2018 primary election. Those have all passed unanimously. They have not yet been certified to the county clerk. Ever hopeful in the light that there may not have been, however unlikely, challenges to the candidates' petitions. My intention would have been to certify everything to the county clerk at the same time. However, there have been challenges to candidates' petitions, so I will go ahead and certify the public questions to the county clerk while the objections to the candidates' questions are pending.
Okay, so you saying that'll be this week?
That's my intention. The deadline to certify is December 20th.
Okay, thank you.
And the
Okay.
next thing is C.
Next thing is seek approval of the schedule of meetings for 2019.
Before you, trustees, is a proposed schedule for next year's meeting dates, essentially based off last year's schedule. And of course, only the dates have been changed to reflect that. And also it includes a list of holidays, again, pursuant to the village handbook and our union contracts. And I did enclose a list of 2019 federal holidays, which we are required by contract and policy to follow. I will point out that you see, as typical with the Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday and President's Day in January and February, the second meeting of the month, on the third Monday of the month, because of the holiday, is pushed to the next day, Tuesday. And that same is true for Labor Day later in the year. Otherwise, the schedule is the first and third Mondays of the month, except for, as this current year, the July meetings, the meeting on the third Monday of the month is not scheduled, as well as the third Monday of August. So in July and August, the intention was this year to have one meeting on the first Monday. So I would ask for a motion to approve.
I would like to make a motion to approve the scheduled meetings for 2019.
Second.
Here's been motioned and approved, and seconded to approve the scheduled meetings for 2019. Any discussion on that? No discussion. Roll call.
Okay. Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Okay, next thing on the report, on the agenda is the engineer's report.
Thank you this evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, department heads, and residents from the Village of Dalton. My engineer's report was emailed to all board members and staff. Just 2 items on there. There is a grant opportunity out there. The Illinois Department of Development Authority has an abandoned property grant, round 4. The village has taken advantage of this grant opportunity in the past, with being selected for round 2 and also for round 3, each $75,000. This is a reimbursable grant. The village submits invoices from vendors that they have paid out to do grass cutting, demolition, fencing, board up. maintenance items with residential property only. This grant is due at the end of December, the 21st at 3 p.m. I will be working with Janice and also the Housing Department on completing this grant and submitting this grant. Again, it's a reimbursable grant for $75,000, and the village has taken advantage of this in the past to the tune of $150,000 for reimbursements that the village has paid out to vendors for upkeep and maintenance of residential properties. The last item is the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. Each year, the village is mandated by the IDNR to submit an LMO2 report. That is a water use audit report. I work with the water department and also with the water operator and also the Public Works Department on an analysis of the water system. Basically, it takes in consideration how much water has been purchased, how much water has been sold, and make a determination on the water loss that the village has been incurring over the year. Once that report is completed, that report will be emailed out before that report is sent to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. This report is due on January 7th of 2019. And I'll be working with staff on collecting all the data and submitting that. We have worked with the village in the past and the different departments on completing this report and submitting the report on time. And I will entertain any questions that the board might have at this time.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
In that grant, you talked about it's also reimbursement for demolition.
Yes. If the village had bidded out a demolition, the village can get reimbursed for those dollars.
No. Our demolition has been done by the sheriff's office.
Okay.
But what we do is provide the dumpsters for those demolition projects. And we're actually billed for them. Can we submit those invoices for reimbursement on the grant?
I would say that should be a reimbursable item, as long as with that dumpster, it has an address attached to it.
Right.
And as long as it was a residential property, that's the caveat. So as long as that information is provided, we can actually make sure we submit the dumpster rental as well.
Right. Most of our demolition by the sheriff has been residential. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, any information on the placement of those other bus shelters?
It's my understanding, talking to Pace, the bus shelters are on order, and they will be installed in the spring, which will be next year.
Okay.
It is a bit of a time lapse for when they order them and when their contractor gets them in and to put them in place. But I've been working diligently with Pace, and in the event they do have extras, even if it's not the one that we would want there permanently, they have been great. We've been working with them, and they have been accommodating to try to get those shelters in place on a temporary basis until the new permanent shelters come in. I will follow back up with Pace and see if they have any temporary shelters they can put in place, so that way to protect the residents from the inclement weathers.
The one I'm concerned about is Chicago and Sibley on the south. We discussed that in front of the dentist's office.
Yes, I will make a note of that.
And then some of the other ones that they put in, they did not connect the solar panels, so they're not lit at night.
I did see the one that is on Chicago Road and Sibley.
Reports. Human Services, Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the monthly report from Supervisor Barbara Batten of the Water Department. For November 2018, the total water collections were $620,959.96, and other collections were $452,273.66, with a grand total of collections was $1,073,233.62. The dollar amount of water bills that are 120 days or more past due is $2,078,819.57. This is an increase from the previous month of $107,864.30. And that is my report, Mayor.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is planning. Trustee Henry.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out this evening. Village of Dalton housing activity counts from November 1st through November 30th as follows. 22 property transfer tax, 50 transfer tax, 13 sale inspections, 25 as-is sales, 13 quick claim, 9 judicial deeds, 1 trust deed, 2 deed in lieu, 20 rental licenses, 20 rental inspections, 112 vacant property permits, 12 tenant water deposits, 12 escrow deposits, 24 escrow release inspections, 12 escrow refunds, 3 grass invoices, and 28 housing tickets. Total process was $354. The total revenue collected was $67,588.50. Just a FYI for you guys. A lot of you guys, I don't know if you follow the village website, but we have been hiring for this position for a while. Public Works mechanic is needed, so if anybody know anybody, Public Works is looking for a mechanic. Also, I know they're gonna speak on this. Is an RFP for a camera person that's out now, so if anybody wants to apply, please apply. Those 2 positions are available, so that you guys know. Next is, I want you guys to know that I was working on a program here in the Village of Dalton that deals with the properties, the vacant properties. Currently now, we're going to put out an RFP for you guys to be able to obtain some village-owned property. And what I mean by village-owned is they are vacant. We have to go after them and get rid of the back taxes, almost similar to programs you have heard about in the past. But it will benefit strictly the Dalton resident. It's for homeowners. So say for instance, you got a child that lives in your house and they went away to college and they just came back and you want to buy them a house. The program going to be initiated from the words of it's going to be free, $1 or $5,000. Currently now the board is in talks of writing this law, so if anybody got any input that wants to suggest things such as the living requirement, some board members want 3 years, some want it to be 5 years, and for those that's free and $1, of course you guys, that property needs a ton of work, so that's why we're saying free and $1. But understand this, it is a catch to that, and what I mean is, say we sell that house for $120,000. You put $20,000 in. I'm trying to do basic math so people can follow me. You would get the $20,000 back, but you have to pay the village 25% of your profits. So at the end of the day, it's $100,000 left. You will walk away with $75,000, and you will have to give the village $25,000. So we're trying to do a percentage for the investors. But just so you understand, this program will be written strictly for the Dalton residents. Investor will be last, but my goal is strictly for you guys to be able to obtain these properties. We would like to execute this coming in the beginning of January or February. For the simple fact, you know how we are. Income tax season, that's the time where most people got a lump sum of money. So save your dollars. That's why I'm mentioning it now. Right now, we at the beginning stages, but I want you to save your money so you can obtain these houses in the Village of Dalton and move your kids or loved one in the Village of Dalton. That's my goal, you guys. End of my report, Mayor.
Okay, you're going to present this when, trustee?
Huh?
You're going to present this when?
You said, when am I going to present this? We already passed it. We basically won the vote when trustee didn't vote with us and you broke tie. It's already in the works. Currently now, I know you got the email from Murphy. He's writing a RFP. That's how your board knows about it. He's writing an RFP for it now. You didn't get that email?
No, I didn't.
Attorney Murphy?
Sent that to the whole board.
Thank you.
Yeah, the board's got to.
Thank you for clarifying.
Well, then I think, I didn't hear Trustee Henyard say that, so we need to clarify. Does it require further vote?
Yeah, I had sent a draft RFP, so we still need to work on it.
Right.
So, I mean, the board's got to come back before the board.
Right. I was just enlightening the residents of what was going on and what's coming down the pipeline so they are prepared and they got the funds to basically move forward.
Okay. Okay. All right, thanks. Department of Operations, Trustee Stubbs.
Good evening, Mayor. I'll read the report tonight. Good evening, residents. Public Works Productivity Report for November of 2018. Public Works has checked and repaired 28 streetlights. Public Works has cut down 10 dead trees and trimmed 5. Public Works has repaired 18 B boxes. 3 water service leaks and 7 water main breaks were repaired. Also, we checked and cleaned 9 sewers. Public Works has been out repairing potholes throughout the map areas. SWAP was out on November 5th collecting trash along the village streets. Public Works has worked on shut-offs for delinquent properties. We have successfully shut off 153 properties. 94 properties that are dig jobs, 22 properties have made payment arrangements with the water department. The mechanics have serviced 2 police department vehicles, did 5 service calls to the fire department vehicles, 1 housing department vehicle, and 23 public works vehicles along with miscellaneous jobs in a shop. Please, as a reminder, put your garbage out the night before your pickup, along with any debris you may have. Tree branches will be picked up through the winter season by Public Works. Just to let you know, this Wednesday, the electronic recycling will come to an end. Please make sure if you're going to bring anything to have it there by 3 p.m. on Wednesday. This Wednesday, yes, this Wednesday. Also, if you see water coming up with the season being here with the cold weather, please call our office. Or if it's after hours, you can call our 911 dispatch center at 201-3240. If you have any further questions or information you need, you can contact our office at 201-3280 or 81, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30. Thank you. That is all.
Mayor, might be recognized.
Go ahead.
Good evening, residents. Thursday, November the 29th, 2018, at 6 o'clock, we held a Public Works meeting, and we talked about the productivity report. I've asked Mr. Stacy, and I've talked to him this evening, and he stated that it was an oversight, and he will make sure that I will get the information needed to go along with the reports with the addresses for the work that have been done by Public Works. Also, we talked about a tree list. He stated that he was going to give myself and the rest of the board members a tree list that was in his possession, and I spoke with him again this evening about that list, and he assured me that I would receive it. I saw the guys out today cutting trees down, and this branch was really hanging low, and they were right on point with that. And it was 4 guys out assisting them in cutting the tree down. Also, we have a new invoice, and we had talked about it at the meeting, and to bring it to the other board members about purchasing a plow that's two. Is this for 2, Matt? No, just for 1. This is for 1.
Changed it then.
This is for 1, and the total amount is $7,488.40. The other one is in disarray, and the snow is coming, and so therefore we want to be prepared. So I'm asking the board, for their take on the $7,488.40, and also I talked to Mr. Stacy about the money being in his budget. So I'm asking the other board members that wasn't at the meeting for their input.
May we recognize, Mayor?
Are you done, Trustee Stubbs?
Yes.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Mr. Stacy, originally the invoice had 2 plows. After reinspection, you only need the 1.
Yes, 1 will do fine for just for right now. Then I'll budget the other one in on the upcoming budget.
Okay, so we're looking for a vote for approval tonight, trustee. It's, yeah, unless she's doing it now, I don't know. Purchase of snow plows.
If I can move H up to now, Mayor?
H, yes.
H is the snow plow.
Yes, go ahead.
And this is to be corrected to only 1. I would like to make a motion to purchase one snowplow in the amount of $7,488.40.
Second.
There's been motion to change this from purchasing 2 snowplows to 1 snowplow. Any discussion on this? I'd like to comment, Matt, do you think, well, apparently you thought you need 2 snowplows since you put the request in, right?
Yeah, one is on its last leg, and the one that I'm replacing is gone.
So, Trustee Stubbs, you mentioned the fact that winter's coming and we need our streets clean and stuff like that. Why wouldn't the board approve the purchase of 2 snowplows if the Public Works Superintendent thinks that's what we need to get the job done?
Sir, if you had the opportunity to come to the meeting and listen to what Matt Stacy had stated, that he actually could use just 1, and he said he can get by with 1 as opposed to 2. That's what he stated at the meeting.
Okay, Matt, if one of the plows go down during the winter time, how long would it take to replace another plow? I mean,
The one that, if we get approval for the one tonight, it'll be here within 30 days. The second one that I was requesting for, it is starting to rot away at the bottom of it. Again, I didn't budget for it. That was my mistake. That is why I requested for 1, because that second one will be able to make it till next budget.
okay. So if we were to need another plow, you're looking at a possible 30-day delivery?
Yes.
No, the 30-day from this one, but I mean, if the other one goes down, would it take another 30 days?
Yes, it'd probably take 30 days, yes.
My suggestion, and the board can vote the way they want, is that we probably could use 1 in reserve just in case we have anything that goes down. And we don't know what kind of winter we're going to have. It's just my comment.
Mayor, may I say something, please?
Go ahead.
Because we all went under the recommendation of Mr. Stacy. We asked him, what did he need? And any of the board members that was at the meeting can attest to Mr. Stacy stated that he only needed 1. He can get by with 1. These are his words. 'Cause we asked him about 2 of them. And we asked him also how much money did he have left in his budget.
Getting by with 1 and being prepared for an emergency is another thing. So I just asked this board to take in consideration, if a plow goes down, we're looking at a delivery of 30 days. I got nothing else to say. Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
On the motions by Trustee Stubbs, second by Trustee Muhammad to purchase 1 snowplow. Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Motion carries, 6 ayes. Okay, next thing on the agenda is,
Mayor, I had a question on the committee,
on,
on the Stubbs Committee,
Go
Public
ahead.
Works for Matt.
go ahead.
I had a question in regards to, of course, everybody knows, my tree list. I did come to Public Works the next day to pick it up because Matt told me it would be available. And I want to know, why did he give me the runaround and not supply me with what he told me to pick up? So that question is to you, Matt.
You told me you were going to be by at 11 o'clock to pick it up, and I mistakenly had it with me, and I was in a meeting after that when you didn't come. You came at 2 o'clock, and I had an 11:30 meeting that took me at 2:30.
So you couldn't email it to us or do any of the above or leave it at the office for me? You knew I was coming.
I wasn't sure if you were coming when I left at 11:30.
Okay. Well, what I didn't like about it is that we agreed that I would pick up a list, so you could have just left it with your staff. And I think that's a false statement you're making, because even your, I guess, second in command, John, he was there. He texted you and asked you for the list, and you told him to tell me that, again, I need to get it from the mayor. So I didn't understand what that comment was for. Why could I not get the list that we all had a committee meeting about, to just get a tree list? This is becoming like beating a dead horse, like constantly talking about it, ain't nothing happening. So did you bring the list tonight?
Trustee,
Mayor, I just want, can you clear this situation up? Because
I'm
it's
trying to right now.
becoming-
I'm trying to right now. Okay. Superintendent Stacy gave me a list over the weekend. Sunday and today, I went out and took a look at some of those trees that were on that list. And I'm not sure why you want the list, but there's been a lot of requests for trees to be cut down for cosmetic reasons. And we had the arboretum out here, and they suggest that any tree that is alive not to be cut down, because what that does is these trees take in thousands of gallons of water a year that helps us with flooding. Now, there were some trees that needed to be cut down and or trimmed that had caused problems with the sidewalks. I know earlier this board had reduced the budget for cutting trees and also replacing sidewalks. Now, what I'd like to do is continue to, because there's a lot of trees that are on there that majority of the trees I looked at today and yesterday that were requested to be cut down don't need to be cut down. When you have someone that says, hey, I want these 3 trees cut down in front of my house, that's for cosmetic reasons. When we started cutting trees 4.5 years ago or 5 years ago, when there hadn't been trees cut or trimmed in a long period of time, we used the priority of when the ash borer beetle was here, and it was really destroying a lot of the trees. And those are the ones that we tried to work on first. Now, we're down in Public Works, and I understand some of the residents, I called in a while ago, my trees weren't cut. But you have to understand too that the same Public Works employees that work on water main breaks and work on other incidents are the same ones that repair lights, the same ones that cut trees. And so we don't have the luxury to have our tree crew cut them down on a daily basis. Plus, some of our trees are so old and large in diameter and large in height, we don't have the equipment to do it properly and safely to make sure no one gets hurt.
Okay.
So if we can go over the list together, but I'd like to have some few more days to go through the town to identify some of the trees that really don't need to be cut down.
Mayor, you gave
and
a
need to be
whole
trimmed.
speech, and I had one question. Why
What?
did you guys not give me what I was asking for, or the board? The board asked for it, I asked for it.
Well, one
Hey,
of
he
the,
gave it to you, and you said you went and looked at it. You could have called us, emailed it to everybody. We wouldn't even be discussing this right now. We'd be past this if you just gave us what we asked for.
yeah, the problem is, and I'm not sure why you want the list, whether it's political reasons or not, but.
Political
but
reason for a tree cut,
You asked
come
me,
on.
the problem is that, and we can pass the list out. The problem is everybody wants to direct Public Works on what to do, when to do it, and that's not the way it goes.
Mayor, I don't want
So-
no lists for no political reason. My seat on there ain't even
Oh, okay.
up, first of all. Let's get that clear.
Okay.
I'm not even running.
All
I
right.
want it because a resident has a problem with a tree, and I'm trying to resolve their situation. And
How are you gonna
guys
resolve
is
it?
not giving me any clarity, because I asked, I wanted to know where they was at on the list, and I still to this day don't even know, because
Okay.
y'all didn't want to give me a list. We
Okay.
arguing over a list.
We're not
Mayor.
gonna go back and forth about
I'm
this
saying-
list.
I'm
I
saying
told
that
you,
because
I told
you
you.
guys are playing games, and I'm sick of it.
Okay.
Just give me what I'm asking
Right.
for. I'm elected like you elected. We all got the same clout up here.
We do.
But yet you want to sit here and just keep telling Matt what to do. That when one of us asks, you sit here and he can't do it. He got to do his job. He's a department head. If any of us ask him, he needs to do his job. Period.
You know, you've been on Matt for the last
I've
couple
been
of
on,
years.
you know why I'm on Matt?
You know that?
Guess what? Guess
You've
what,
been
Mayor?
on Matt
You know
for
why
the
I've been on
last
Matt?
couple of
Because
years.
if I ask any one of these department heads in here for anything, I
Right.
don't have this problem at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
They supply me with what I need and I move on.
Mhm. And some of the stuff they
Matt
supply
holds
you
a
what they
tree
shouldn't.
list, a tree list up. Who does that?
Okay.
We all run companies. I wish my staff would do that. They would no longer be with me. That's what I'm saying. You babyfy Matt. I don't appreciate that. He has a department head title. He needs to act as though, and he does not. He sit here and go ring around the rosy with this board. I don't appreciate that. And I'm not going to stand for it no longer, Mayor.
Okay.
So please fix it.
Next thing on the agenda is police and fire. Trustee Pearson.
Good evening, residents. From Chief Collins, Dalton Police stats for the month of November. The Dalton Police Department responded to 2,014 calls for service. 198 traffic citations were issued. 422 village ordinance violations were issued. 59 criminal arrests were made, and 8 arrest warrants were served. He would also like you to know that business hours of record section, the record section of the police department is open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Police reports are taken 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including holidays. From Chief Dyer reports fires, this is from January 1st to November 30th. Fires were 209, motor vehicle accidents 249, emergency medical services 2,851, hazardous conditions 152, fire service calls with good intent 259, fire alarms and detector activations 377, severe weather and natural disasters 1, technical rescues 4. Total incidents were 4,102. There also is a dangerous cold weather report from Chief Dyer, the Village of Dalton. Village of Dalton has made preparations in advance for extreme cold expected over the fall and winter months. A warming center has been established at Melanie Fitness Center, located at 14900 Greenwood Road here in the Village of Dalton, and the Dalton Park District at 721 Ingle Street, here also in the Village of Dalton. Be sure to check on family members, the elderly, and those with medical conditions. Bundle up. Putting on a few extra layers is a good way to warm when temperatures dip below freezing. Always bring your pets inside when the temperature begins to drop. Assemble a home and car emergency kit. Keep heat constant. When possible, settings thermostats at the same temperature day and night will help prevent freezing pipes. Check for school, work, and business closings. Stay indoors when possible. Avoid driving in all bad weather conditions when possible. Follow your local weather team. Keep phones charged in case of emergency. Hours of operation at Melanie Fitness is Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. until 4 p.m., and closed Sunday. Hours of operation at the Dalton Park District Recreation Center is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. They also passed out a shelter listings near Dalton, not in Dalton. You have the South Suburban Pad, that's at 414 Lincoln Highway in Chicago Heights. Bethel Human Resources Corporation, 151 Page Avenue in Harvey. Together We Hope is at 17010 Oak Park Avenue in Tinley Park. Guildhouse Sober Living, 13623 Western Avenue in Blue Island. New Beginnings Recovery, 2251 East 73rd Street in Chicago, Illinois. Clara's House, West Inglewood, 1656 West 63rd Street, Chicago, Illinois. Door of Hope Rescue Mission, 5313 South Indiana Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. Agape Homeless Transitional Center, 6340 South Racine Avenue, Chicago. Roseland Christian Ministries Grow, 10858 South Michigan Avenue, Chicago. And lastly, Spanish Coalition for Housing at 9010 South Commercial Avenue in Chicago. There is phone numbers for all of them. I didn't read them off, but if anybody needs a copy of these shelters near Dalton, I'll be glad to make them after the meeting. We will be having a police and fire committee meeting on December 13th at 5 o'clock here at the Village Hall. One subject that I would that's going to be on the agenda, I should say, is the hiring of 7 part-time police officers to give the village more police presence. And I would like as many residents to come and voice your opinion because it's important. We hear a lot of complaints about not having enough police presence. So the hiring of 7 police officers will be put on the agenda. And again, I talked about this at the last COW meeting. We think that we can do this, or we're sure we can do this without adding to the budget, and we will be talking about it. So please come out on December 13th at 5 o'clock for that Police and Fire Committee meeting. And I just want to congratulate the firefighters and engineers and lieutenants again for the awards they received tonight and the 2 promotions and the hiring of the 2 additional firefighters, which is a total of 3. All of that ran through Police and Fire Committee meeting and was brought to the COW meeting that we had last month. And Mayor, that's all I have, sir.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is Finance Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. We recently had our monthly financial meeting, Finance Committee meeting on this past Wednesday, October 31st. And as Ms. Blanco mentioned, who represents the Kasperi Group, you probably received at the door the monthly report. But if you look at the bottom of it, it says amounts are unaudited, updated through October 31st. So that's why the numbers didn't jive. But what we'll do at our next our Finance Committee meeting, which is every last Wednesday of the month. So that means this next one is December 26th, the day after Christmas. So we'll be here and we'll go into detail more of the audit that you just heard. And we'll go over the recommendations that the auditor has made. And with the help, again, of Ms. Blanco and the Kasperi Group, they will be making a presentation, I believe, is it January 3rd? Is that our next board meeting for the new year?
January 7th.
7th. And they'll be here to make some recommendations that will help us during our transition because Ms. Yvonne Redmond has left, our finance manager. So they will be here to put a presentation together to help us get through this transition until we hire a financial manager or director. At that meeting on October 31st, we went in detail of the finance report, and we also went through what we call our warrant list, which we'll be going over tonight briefly to vote on the corporate bills. Those are the type of items that we go over in the finance meeting every month. It's a standing meeting every 4th Wednesday at 5 p.m. here at the Village Hall. So we'll go over that in December, and we'll also go over the details. And if you look, I don't know if you all have a copy of this, but I believe the clerk will publish it in due time, that it will be on the website, the actual audit. And they made 13 recommendations, and we'll get with the Kasperi Group and see if there's anything that we could do to make these recommendations real that the Lauterbach and Amen is suggesting. So I look forward to everyone being here, if you can, on December 26, 5 p.m. here at the Village Hall, where we're going into more detail on the financial reports for November, and we'll go over the what we call the warrant list and other items that relate to the financial condition of our village. And that's my report for Finance, Mayor.
Next thing on the agenda, Special Events Trustee Henry.
Thank you. Just FYI, you guys, this is my cell number. If you guys need me in regards to the housing program, I want to give any input in regards to writing the law. My cell number is 708-297-6859. Again, 708-297-6859, and that's in regards to that housing program. Next, I don't know if you guys grabbed your tickets from off the table in the back. I don't know, did anybody grab these? So I'm gonna do the raffle now. If you do, pull it out real quick.
Hey, hold on,
Just
hold
something
on,
for the
hold on.
holiday.
We can't do a raffle in the middle of a board meeting.
Raffle at a public meeting.
I can't
You
give them
cannot
a gift?
conduct a raffle during the course of a public meeting.
Come on.
Okay. Okay. Well, when can I put it? When can I do it? What was that?
After we adjourn.
Can you do it in public?
There wasn't nothing there. Normally, y'all have communications, and a person can do that. All I'm doing is giving holiday wreaths
I don't even know
out.
if it's legal to do it at all, an
A
individual
raffle.
running raffles.
I'm not giving anything but a holiday gift to the residents.
But it's
How
in
y'all
the,
talking about legal and
it's
stuff?
it's in the
Really?
government. Attorney Henry, we getting legal advice here.
That's not even right. But don't worry about it. That's why I got my
So-
own attorney. That's okay.
So,
Go ahead.
okay.
Well, you guys, I still have it. If you want to wait after the meeting, I will announce it. Thank you.
He's saying that you can't even do it in a government building, the attorney
Or
said.
to give residents,
Well, I'm just going by what the legal advice
Murphy,
is.
really?
Really?
Wow. Petty. Okay.
Okay. Next thing is corporate bills.
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to pay the corporate payments of a registered number 134 for $507,775.20 with a gross payroll of $405,181.18 with Melanie Fitness is registered 134 at $5,984.54 with a gross payroll of $2,553. Total corporate payments, $921,493.92.
Second.
It's been voted to, and seconded, motion and seconded to approve the corporate bills as stated. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor. During our finance meeting, we had quite a few questions concerning some itemized bills, invoices, and I reached out to Ms. Redmond, and as I have stated before in our finance meeting, she's only doing 10 hours per week. She was not able to get this back to us in time. I talked to her. No, I didn't talk to her. I emailed her this evening, and she's going to work on that, and hopefully we'll have that information. But I asked the board to approve the corporate bills for now until we get clarity on some of these items that are in question. And they've been highlighted and forwarded to Ms. Redmond.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, there's two motions on the floor for the approval. Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing on the agenda is old business. Ordinance number 18-014, amending the Village of Dalton sexual harassment policy in accordance with Public Act 100-1066. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept ordinance number 18-014.
Yeah.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to approve ordinance number 18-014. Any discussion? Notice,
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
go ahead.
Just to clarify, the board had previously adopted a sexual harassment policy, and this ordinance was submitted as revised by Attorney Coleman from Mr. Murphy's office at the last committee of the whole. It does one thing: it increases the timeline for employees to file a complaint from 180 days, as it previously was, to 300 days, and that's it.
Okay. No further discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Motion carries 6 ayes. The next thing on the agenda is item B, ordinance number 18-015, amending ordinance number 14-016, establishing administration fee in connection with traffic court violations. Trustee Pearson.
This item was brought forth by Chief Collins. It was first presented at the Police and Fire Committee meeting, and the 3 board members decided to move it to the COW. We took it to the COW. This is raising the court fees. Our court fees were $25. That's one of the lowest in the surrounding communities, and the chief wanted to raise that to $50 to cover some of the cost. Other communities are as high as I think he said $150. So this is just a step up of $25, and everybody agreed at the COW meeting to move it forward to this board meeting. So I'd like to make a motion to accept ordinance number 18-015.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to accept ordinance number 18015. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Motion carries. New business. Item A, Resolution 18R-015. Trustee Muhammad is calling for an investigation of me.
Okay, can I be recognized, Mayor?
Is there a motion first?
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution number 18R-015.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned by Trustee Stubbs and seconded by Trustee Pearson. Go ahead, Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. I first want to let the public know that this is a resolution. Resolution, unlike a ordinance, and I'll distinguish them both. A resolution is a formal expression or opinion, will, or intent voted by an official body or an assembled group. But within this resolution, there has been violation of ordinances, and ordinances are defined as a law set forth by a governmental authority, specifically a municipal regulation. That being said, I want to read into the record this resolution, stated number 18R-015. Whereas the Village of Dalton Board of Trustees have become aware of numerous improprieties concerning the mayor's use of village funds, employees, and resources, and whereas the village board has received evidence that Mayor Riley H. Rogers' company, Rogers Development Group, LLC, purchased a property at 14300 Lincoln in Dalton on November 7, 2014. Allegedly, village employees were requested to shut off the water to the house and failed to do so, resulting in a claim for water damage to the house on November 19, 2014, in the amount of $23,300 and $35,000 to CCMSI for a total of $58,300 additional budget cost to the village taxpayers. However, the mayor, on his own authority, ordered that the water be restored. As a result, the property flooded, which at that time was tax delinquent. The village should not be liable for property damage sustained as a result of water service restored to the property, as the village requires the execution of a waiver or liability prior to the restoring of service, as evidenced by the following notice posted at the village hall. And that notice reads, if your water is turned off, village residents must sign a waiver for turn on, no exceptions. Unlike all other residents, the mayor did not sign this waiver. The village administrator, at the mayor's direction, filed a claim with the village's insurance carrier, CCMSI. CCMSI did not investigate this claim at the instruction of the village manager, who also directed that the claim be paid. CMSI also had no contact with claimant, Mayor Riley Rogers, again, per the village administrator's instructions. The mayor stated at the board meeting that he didn't file a claim against the insurance company because they would simply sue the village. So he filed a claim directly against the village's carrier. The village's manager furnished a bank routing number for CCMSI to make payment to the claimant. Instead of the village paying the claim, the village administrator chose to route the funds through CCMSI to conceal the identity of the mayor. The village administrator submitted a W-9 form for the claimant to CCMSI that was not signed but only initialed, apparently to conceal the identity of the mayor. The manner in which the mayor's claim was submitted and processed by the administrator, coupled with uncertainty of whether the property was even insured, suggests possible insurance fraud. And whereas the Board of Trustees have received evidence that of the numerous improprieties with properties owned or occupied by the mayor, the property at 14702 Empire in Dalton, owned by Peter Zenos, lists the taxpayer as Mayor Rogers. The property has an owner-occupied real estate exemption, although the owner is not occupying the property. The mayor lives there. The property taxes are delinquent for this property. The owner is a Village of Dalton police officer who the mayor has commandeered from the police chief and who reports only to the mayor and not the police chief, and who does not patrol or perform other needed police duties for the village. The property at 14626 Atlantic in Dalton has real estate taxes listed in the name of Darrell Terrell, but the property is owned by Mayor Rogers. Again, there is an owner-occupied real estate exemption for the property, but Mayor Rogers does not live there. And whereas the Board of Trustees have received evidence that Mayor Rogers has used village employees while they were on village time to provide services such as grass cutting and snow removal on his private properties in the village, said properties being currently in default on real property taxes totaling over $300,000, resulting in lost revenue to the Village of Dalton and other local units of government, including the School District 205, School District 148, School District 149, the Dalton Park District, the Dalton Library District, Thornton Township, Cook County, and others. And whereas the mayor has consistently spent village funds in excess of amounts approved in the annual village's budget in violation of state law, resulting in part in the village's water bill to the city of Chicago increasing from $2 million when the mayor took office to now over $8 million, resulting in the city of Chicago suing the village and causing a fiscal crisis in the village. And whereas the Board of Trustees have received evidence that the mayor has paid village vendors with village funds who are also contributors to the mayor's election committee for contracted village work that they had not performed, and whereas the village board has received information that the mayor has improperly filed for real estate exemptions and numerous properties he owns within the village, and properties also being in default of paying real estate taxes. And whereas the mayor allowed Club One, owned by a convicted child sex offender, to operate a liquor establishment less than 100 feet from Village Hall, resulting in the shooting of 5 people. The owner of the club had previously contributed $5,000 to the mayor's election committee. Now, therefore, be resolved by the mayor, the Board of Trustees, and the Village of Dalton, Cook County, Illinois, in the exercise of its home rule authority as follows. Section 1. The foregoing recitals are incorporated herein as though fully set forth. Section 2. The village clerk is hereby directed to send a copy of this resolution to the Cook County State's Attorney, the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, the Cook County Sheriff, and the Illinois State Board of Elections for investigation. Section 3. Any policy or resolution of the Village of Dalton which conflicts with the provisions of this resolution shall be and is hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect upon its passage and approval in the manner provided by law. And I'm asking for a unanimous vote on this resolution tonight and to be passed and approved by the village president and Board of Trustees of the Village of Dalton on this 3rd day of December 2018. And I ask for a vote.
Mayor, if I could be recognized.
Go ahead.
On this resolution, I think that no member of this board, not the mayor, the clerk, myself, or any member of this board is above being investigated for any alleged or any thought of improprieties. I do on this disagree with a public resolution, and I will not be voting in favor of it, but it's not for any partisan or favor reasons. I think I encourage any suspected improprieties to be reported and should be reported by this board, and if I see anything, I will report it myself. I disagree with the public nature of a resolution. I would think that the evidence should be reported to the proper authorities, though.
And I'd like to know where you get your evidence from, Trustee Muhammad.
It's public
But
record, Mayor.
I'm gonna.
All of it is
because-
public record.
Because you got a bunch of lies in there. I'm gonna just say that from the beginning, and I'm gonna read my rebuttal. December 3rd, 2018, to the Dalton residents from Mayor Rogers. My response to false allegations. After only getting 374 votes in his 2017 run for mayor, Trustee Muhammad and his trustee board followers have crawled into the gutter with false accusations concerning the property my investment company purchased at 14300 Lincoln Avenue in the village of Dalton. Here are the facts. My company bought this property as an investment in this community. When the property was purchased, I requested that the water service be turned off by Public Works. Winter had approached. I asked Superintendent Stacy, could he send someone over from Public Works to check and make sure that the water was off, just as I have done for many years to other vacant properties. Unfortunately, instead of making sure that the water was turned off, the Public Works employees turned the water on. Upon my periodic inspection the following week, I discovered many pipes had frozen and water was flowing from burst pipes, causing extensive damage to ceilings, floors, walls, and other interior items. I immediately informed Superintendent Stacy, who went to the property and verified and corrected the water situation. I also immediately notified our village administrator of the damage at the property. The administrator advised me that I should file a claim as to the damage, and he would process all paperwork to the insurance company. He advised me to obtain and submit a written estimate for the damage, which I later submitted to him. The village administrator handled all necessary paperwork and contacts with the insurance company, like any other property owner would. I filed a claim seeking reimbursement for the damage. I submitted a written estimate as requested. At that point, it was totally handled by the village administrator and insurance company. There was no fraud there. I had no further involvement in the matter as reimbursement was processed. I may be mayor, but I am also a citizen and a resident of this community. If my property is damaged as a result of negligence by the village, I'm entitled to a reimbursement just like any other resident. The resolution being pushed by Trustee Muhammad and these trustees that vote for it is false, and they know it's false. I hope that the residents can see through these lies just like they saw through his lies in 2017, and they will see in 2019. In furtherance, Trustee Muhammad stated some property that I don't even own. I'm not sure where he's getting his evidence is, but what Trustee Muhammad is trying to do is ruin my reputation and defame me before he gets voted out of office. And there's consequences for that. I just hope that he got his evidence from the right sources. And if he chooses to have me investigated based upon his false allocations, that's his prerogative. If I've done something wrong, I'll take my medicine. But as mayor, I'm not here to intentionally defraud this community or be untruthful to our residents. That's all I have to say. They can take the vote.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
No.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Motion carried, 5 ayes. Next thing on the agenda. Ordinance number 18-016, amending 6-5-4-1 of the Dalton Village Code to require additional stop signage at Greenwood Road and Woodlawn. Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to approve ordinance number 18-016.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve ordinance number 18-016. Any comments?
Yes. Everybody who's familiar with this stop, it's along Greenwood once you hit Woodlawn, going northeast and southwest. What I would ask, Mayor and Mr. Stacy, upon the vote approving this stop sign, that we can get the trees trimmed from Woodlawn up toward 154th Street. It's clear now because all the leafage is fallen, but at any chance that Public Works can please cut that material down, and it's really at the rear of those houses, I believe, on
Nope.
Hastings.
Those trees are on private property.
If there is a
And-
way
and-
that we can get that, because what happens, even with the stop sign, and those of you who have gone down Woodlawn and made that left or right on Greenwood, it's difficult to see traffic coming west and I believe it's northwest. But now it's easy because, like I said, there's no foliage. But if we can do some kind of coordinating with the property owners, I'm sure they wouldn't mind, because I think it's about 4 or 5 homes that's in question that's private property. We do cut the grass on that parkway, but I think if there's some coordination with Public Works, this is not tall trees, these are like shrubs and weeds that can be cut down, so by spring, when we have the stop sign up, that we can decrease the accidents or near fatalities that take place at Woodlawn and Greenwood.
That's only a block from 154th Street. What's your recommendations, Chief? There's a stop sign there already going southbound on Woodlawn.
No.
But at the Greenwood Y section, there is no stop sign there, but it is difficult to maneuver out into traffic. A stop sign would help. The only problem is that it is 1 block from 154th, so after the light turns green, you may get a backup at the stop sign that will extend into the intersection at 154th and
Well,
Greenwood.
there is a stop sign going south on Greenwood, on Woodlawn, but it's back far where you have to come out. So I'm going to take a look at southbound traffic on Greenwood.
The motion is on the floor. If we're through a discussion, if I can get a second for the vote.
Second.
It's been motioned to approve ordinance number 18-016, amending section 6541, Dalton Village Code for a stop sign, Greenwood Road and Woodlawn. Any further discussion?
I have a question, just for clarity. So this would be a stop sign on the Greenwood side, just past 154th?
Yes, so going both directions.
Okay, thank you.
At Woodlawn. So actually, you would travel a block from the light at 154th and Greenwood. You would travel 1 block to Woodlawn and they have a stop sign. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing on the agenda, ordinance number 18-017, amending section 6547 of Dalton Village Code to allow for posting of additional handicap-only signs at 14510 Ellis Avenue. Trustee Muhammad.
I believe that's a typo, Madam Clerk. I didn't submit any paperwork for a handicap sign, so I guess we can vote on
Unless
that.
it's from
I
Brian.
make the motion to
Yes,
approve
that-
ordinance.
Like it's from Thigpen.
Yes, that isn't my error.
18-00.
Per the synopsis that's in your packet, this was from Code Enforcement Officer Brian Thigpen.
But I make the motion to approve ordinance number 18-017, amending section 6547.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to approve ordinance number 18-017, amending section 6547 of Dalton Village Code to allow the posting of an additional handicap-only sign at 14510 Ellis. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Motion carries 6 ayes. D, proposed speed bumps along residential streets. Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. If you could, Chief Collins, on the mic, take this presentation, but the bottom line is we're just trying to slow folks down from these residential blocks, and we have some, I would say, portable speed bumps that we're proposing. And if Chief Collins would take that presentation from that point.
We've had a discussion about putting speed bumps down, and there's support and there's cons against it. So I did prepare a report to turn in that outlines some information, but also has some recommendations in it. You probably don't have a copy of it, so I'll just read from it.
Everyone should have a copy. I emailed the entire board. They should have it in their email. I don't know if the clerk made any hard copies or not.
Understood. Are there none in the audience? Okay. Speed bumps, traffic calming devices. Speed bumps are devices found in the family of traffic calming measures. Speed bumps are designed to enforce low speed, typically 25 miles per hour or less. The benefit of having speed bumps in a residential area are obvious. Speeding on residential streets is a chief complaint throughout the village of Dalton. While the benefits of the presence of speed bumps is a means to achieving the goal of reducing speed on residential streets, there are some drawbacks that should be considered as safety concerns. Speed bumps can pose a serious safety hazard to motorcyclists and bicyclists if poorly marked. In addition to the safety concerns, speed bumps can become a nuisance due to increased traffic noise if placed on residential streets with a higher than average amount of traffic. Speed bumps can also damage vehicles if traversed at too great a speed. Vehicles with low ground clearance, such as sports cars, can also have some difficulty in traversing the speed bumps. But if the benefits of having speed bumps outweigh the drawbacks, then I recommend that the village explore the acquisition and installation. The following must be taken into consideration before starting a program. Number one, the cost of a single speed bump will be between $200 and $700 for each unit, depending on the model, durability, the ease of installation and uninstallation. I would recommend that the model chosen is one that can be installed in the warmer months and uninstalled before the ground is snow covered. Two, a determination would have to be made as to which department will budget for the speed bumps with the associated hardware that goes along with it. Number three, the task of installing the speed bumps will most likely be assigned to the Public Works Department. Public Works must be invited in on the conversation because they are the team that would have to supply the manpower and the time to install and uninstall. The storage of the speed bumps will also more than likely become Public Works' responsibility. It is very important to get feedback from Public Works before beginning this program. Number four, location. The village must maintain sole discretion on whether speed bumps will be placed. Requests for speed bumps will come from the residents. However, the village should maintain the ultimate authority in having to deny some requests. Something to be considered is that it is possible that not all residents that live on a particular block are in favor of having speed bumps on their street. Simply because a resident requested a speed bump does not mean that speed bumps are installed automatically. Since there is a cost factor, I recommend that applications for speed bump requests go directly to the Public Safety Committee for review. A protocol for handling the request should be developed, and these are my suggestions. An application is delivered to the Public Safety Committee, and that will be on a standard application form that we will develop. The Public Safety Committee chair reviews the application and requests that the police department conduct a speed survey of the proposed location. The PD conducts a speed survey and delivers the results to the Public Safety Committee. The Public Safety Committee chair schedules a public hearing for the residents affected that live on the street proposed. The residents of the block will have the opportunity to voice their opinion if speed bumps are desired or not. The Public Safety chair brings a recommendation to the Village Board of Trustees for a vote. If a yes vote is given, Public Works will schedule the installation. Information on the speed survey. Once the request for a speed survey is given to the Chief of Police or the Deputy Chief of Police, a police officer will be assigned to monitor the proposed location and record the speed of a predetermined number of vehicles or record speeds for a predetermined amount of time. The results of the speed survey will be turned over to the Chief of Police, who will in turn deliver the findings to the Public Safety Committee chair. The commencement of the speed survey is dependent upon the manpower and the call load of the police department. And in conclusion, the protocols depicted in this report are merely a template from which to work from. I do not have any supporting data or documentation to illustrate a successful program. If the decision to move forward with the program is reached, I highly recommend the operating the program within whichever protocol or policy is derived. This will aid in balancing program costs with safety. The overall goal is public safety. However, the village is not in a position that will allow the installation of speed bumps at every requested location.
Thank you, Chief. What I'd like to do, we'd like to edit this down and put this on our website in conjunction with the Police and Fire Committee Trustee Pearson. We discussed this with the Chief, I believe it was last night or day before, I can't remember now. But this program wouldn't get started until the spring of next year. But we would like the input of the residents where you can fill out the application. So we did a walkthrough, and I'll do it with the chief live here. So Chief, if I'm a person living on 154th and Minerva and I want speed bumps put on, what is my first step that I do? Who do I see? Who do I talk to? What do I do first?
I believe we should make the form available online so that it's downloadable so that residents do not have to actually come to the village to get the form. They would fill out that form and turn it back in. As with all other records of the village are held by the village clerk, I would recommend that the village clerk receives the application.
Once the village clerk receives my application that I filled out online, what happens with my application once the clerk receives it?
The application should be forwarded to the Public Safety Committee or the Public Safety Committee chairperson.
And that would be?
Trustee Pearson.
Trustee Pearson. Once Trustee Pearson receives my application, then what happens?
He would notify the police department that a speed bump is requested at a particular location, and the police department would schedule the speed survey so that we can determine if in fact there is a high volume of traffic that is speeding, or it's just an anomaly, or it just takes place during a certain time or date.
Okay. So what I would like to do again is publish this on the website. We'll edit it down some because you have some internal information here also, just to give the residents the basic information, what you can do to acquire speed bumps. And as you mentioned, it's not a guarantee that every street in Dalton is going to be supplied with speed bumps. And I think we figured it would be about, what, 3 speed bumps per block? Is that correct?
On the average blocks here in Dalton, I would not recommend more than 3 per block.
And the width, what was the width of those?
Between 6 and 10 feet.
Okay. So again, we'll with the vote tonight, we're just voting to really approve the monies for this. We don't know how many it would be right now. We don't know how many will be installed, but this is a pilot program that'll get kicked off in the spring. But if we can get this up on the website as soon as possible, I believe, in conjunction with the Police and Fire Committee, along with Trustee Stubbs Committee, which is Public Works, we can make this happen. Any input from Police and Fire and Public Works, Trustee Stubbs and Trustee Pearson?
Yes. I'm definitely in favor of moving forward with this. We do have to decide where we're going to get the funds from. I think Public Works, Matt Stacy, is department is a little taxed right now. So we need to find somewhere to get the funds from, and so we should move forward with it. And again, as the chief said, we won't be able to do a large amount of speed bumps. It might be where we only do 1 street or 2 streets at a time until additional funds become available, but we can start to slow down the traffic on those streets where people are speeding up and down the street with no regards to the speed limit.
Chief, I think
Approximately $700 per speed bump. Approximately 700. So it's about 20. Public Works, that's my next question I was going to present to Mr. Stacy. So if you mind, I'd like to ask him. If I can get your input, Mr. Stacy, do you see any challenges in installing these speed bumps, like we said, in the spring and bringing them up just at the latter part of fall? Is there any real manpower challenges or any other challenges you foresee?
I'm not sure. We'd have to see what kind of speed bumps they are and what it takes to install them. I'm not sure.
there are some speed bumps that are less than $700, but one thing you have to take in consideration is the length of the block. For example, there's a problem with speeding on Dorchester from Lincoln to 142nd Street after they resurfaced it. So when you're talking about putting three speed bumps down per block, and you're talking about that's 148th Street. From 146th Street, you're talking about putting down 18 to 20 speed bumps. And say, for example, a person at 144th in Dorchester, agrees that, they come by his house and some complaints from speed bumps is that the house should shake after people go over them at a high rate of speed. But I think we need to consider the length of the blocks and the number of complaints that come in and requests for speed bumps to be installed.
And I'd like to add that the price of $700, that was for the wider streets. Narrower streets won't be that high. They might be $400 or $500, but the wider streets, there's an extension that you get to make it wider. That's what brings the price up, and it might even be a little higher, but
Those would be removable or permanent?
removable.
Yeah, all of them are removable.
All
They will be
removable.
stored in Public Works.
Mayor, if I can be recognized.
The installation of those required for studs to be put down in the street. And some of the defects or side effects of installing them are that when some of our streets are asphalt, so when the temperature's raised, say for example 95 degrees and the pavement's 120 degrees, a lot of those portable speed bumps come loose. Go ahead, Justin.
Okay, I think my understanding is that this is the beginning phases, so I think there's still some details to be flushed out, but I'm in favor of moving forward with the proposal.
Yeah. We had several years ago a block that had, I think, about 25 signatures. They requested speed bumps, but the board didn't pass it. That's when I was a trustee. But they weren't talking about portable speed bumps at that time. They were talking about permanent speed bumps, and there was some concern about the snow plowing and plows getting damaged during the winter time. So I agree, we do need them. Okay, were we voting on this or what?
I didn't hear if there was a motion in a second.
Yes, I started my reading off about
There was a
passing.
motion, but was there a second?
I make a motion to move forward on the proposed speed bump
Second.
program.
Okay, it's been motion and second to approve the proposed speed bump ordinance. Actually, it's not an ordinance yet. Report, yeah, request or whatever. All right, next thing on the agenda is, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead, roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton? Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Motion carries 6 ayes. Next thing on our agenda is request for proposal for independent contractor for the media center. Trustee Muhammad.
Yes, I'd like to approve tonight the RFP for the moving forward for independent contractors, that should be plural, for our media center, which would include, and we'll go into more detail with Attorney Murphy. We got a brief RFP, but if we need to go into any more detail, but it'd be primarily to keep the programming up that is down as we speak, updating the website. If there's some internal training that needs to be done, that individual will be paid $75 per hour. And that would be, of course, to record all the public meetings requested by this board. And like I said, updating the website, updating the programming through the electronic systems. And I make a motion to approve this RFP. And I believe, I don't know if you distributed Attorney Murphy to everyone. I did a more thorough one, but we'll probably go with the abbreviated one at your suggestion.
I think it makes more sense to, I had prepared that like Tuesday, forwarded on to everybody. I think for something like this, you're really looking for just an abbreviated RFP rather than, I think what you used were more modeled for contractor proposals. I think that this is a case where less is better.
Yes, sir. Well, the motion is on the floor to approve it. Can I get a second?
Second.
Floor and a second to a request for proposal for independent contractor for media center. Any discussion? Okay, who are those proposals to be submitted to?
Well, and the more thorough one that I have, and the attorney has that, we'll just combine them both, but I had Ms. Janice Johnson and her email and phone number in the extended one that everyone has. I think I emailed it to the board. So we can combine that if they need to get in touch with her. And it comes under the Committee of Human Services Committee, which is the matters relating to youth, veterans, workforce development, emergency assistance, media/communications. But it would be primarily to Ms. Johnson. So I suggested we advertise on our website or the other websites that we generally use to SSMMA and others.
If I may.
Go ahead.
It's been the practice of the village, since I've been here, that requests for proposals or bids are to be transmitted to the village clerk, who safeguards those proposals for forwarding to the board.
Okay, well, if that's past practice, I concur with that. We just need to expedite it. Whatever needs to be done, let's do it.
Well, I'm sorry, just to be clear, they're transmitted to the village board, who then can expedite it, but you can't expedite anything until she receives them.
Okay. It's a, we don't need to vote on this, do we?
There's a motion and a second.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs. Aye. Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton. Aye. Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing, amend the Cal meeting ordinance. Trustee Henyard.
Thank you. I put this on the agenda basically to go back to the regular board meetings, which was, we had a voting meeting every 2 weeks. We currently now have only one voting meeting, which is the first Monday of the month, and then the second board meeting is a Cal meeting. So I would like to make a motion to approve the amended ordinance to go back to regular scheduled board meetings.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion second to go back to regular scheduled board meetings. Sometime, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Is it discussion?
Discussion, yeah.
Question, Attorney. We have the ordinance in front of us, 17-047. Is it a matter of just changing the language in that paragraph where it says regular meetings? The village board shall hold its regular meetings on the first Monday of each month, 6:30 p.m. The village board will hold and then it says regular committee of the whole meeting on the third Monday of each month. Is it just a matter of changing that language back to instead of committee of the whole, a regular board meeting to simplify this and start that January? I don't know if you had a chance to peruse it, Attorney.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, he did. He updated the ordinance.
Okay, because we don't have the updated one in front.
I don't see
I
it.
can read it, or if you want to take time.
She
It's
didn't,
only a
Mary
paragraph.
Kay didn't give it to you, us.
Yeah, I just had the one copy here. Okay.
Okay.
The ordinance, as revised pursuant to the discussion just had, would take out, again, as Trustee Muhammad asked, the sentence, delete the sentence, "The village board will hold a regular committee of the whole meeting on the third Monday of each month at 6:30 p.m."
There's a motion on the floor.
Well, it's deleted, but where does it show that there's a regular board meeting at that third
Well, as I
Monday?
said, the only language that would be taken out is that sentence. The preceding sentence is, "The village board shall hold its regular meetings on the first and third Monday of each month at 6:30 p.m."
Well, mine doesn't read that. Maybe I have an old one. It says, "The village board shall
Correct.
hold its regular meetings on the first Monday of each month at 6:30 p.m." But it doesn't mention the third Monday for the regular board meeting.
Point taken.
Why don't we do this? Let's get the vote. I'll prepare a conforming ordinance for the first meeting in January. We're not going to have another regular meeting in December anyway.
So we'll vote on this as amended.
Well, why don't we do, what do you have in front of you, 17-047?
Yeah, it's just that one sentence need to be added for that second meeting. That's it.
Go to the second line, where it says regular meetings.
Mhm.
After it says first, put the phrase "and third." Okay?
That's what you need.
And delete the next sentence.
Got it.
Everybody with that?
Yes.
Yep, that simplifies it. That's it. Thank you.
One of the reasons that this COW meetings were put in place was to discuss the proposed things that were going to go on the agenda of the following voting meeting. And because of sometimes there were last minute things that were put in front of us and they voted on it, no one really got a chance to discuss it. So I'm really against not having a COW meeting because, you know, as we did last meeting, all of these things that's on the agenda tonight were discussed and kind of got a consensus on it, and everybody was kind of aware of what was happening. And that wasn't done a lot of times when things were given to us and put on the agenda, and it was just voted on without real in-depth discussion. But it's up to the board to make a decision how they.
And this is just clarity for the record so residents understand. A lot of the times, most of your items should get vetted through your committee and then it should go onto the board. And also another reason why I'm changing this is for the simple fact we do have a lot of special board meetings. So to alleviate some of that, we're gonna have our regularly scheduled meetings every 2 weeks. So that is the reason for why I'm advocating to go back to the normal schedule. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, roll call.
That
Go
was
ahead.
a motion by trustee Henyard,
Yes.
second by,
Pearson.
thank you.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries, 6 ayes. Next thing on the agenda, approval to cut down tree and fix sidewalk at 14424 Dobson. Pardon me? And to cut down the tree at 14418 Dobson. Trustee Henry.
Thank you. I'm asking the board for direction to cut down the tree. Well, basically, I want to make a motion to approve cutting down a tree at 14424 Dobson and 14418 Dobson, and also fix the sidewalk at 14424 Dobson.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, been motioned to cut the tree down at 14424 Dobson and at 14418 Dobson, along with fixing the sidewalk at 14424 Dobson. Any discussion?
Yes, Trustee Henyard, is this the incident you mentioned at our last meeting about the senior who fell and broke her hip?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to go by today, and I didn't get a chance to take a look at that, but
But you look
right-
at the other tree list, though. Priorities.
I looked at the trees that were in order. That's how I did it. But I can tell you right now, there probably won't be any sidewalk being fixed right now due to the weather. But I'm going to drive by tomorrow and take a look at the trees. What does this board want to do in regards to fixing sidewalks, especially the sidewalks that are that are raised and cause a hazard situation right now? They're not doing any much concrete work now for the winter, but the budget has been cut for trimming trees and sidewalks.
Is this discussion, Mayor?
Well,
Mayor, that's
yeah, this is
currently-
the discussion part.
That's
Yeah.
currently not on my motion. My motion is as follows.
Well, but it's for discussion right now. There's you
You talking
motion-
in general about
you
sidewalks, so
motioned
it's
it.
going to be 20 minutes on that.
You motioned it. It was second, and now it's discussion, and that's what I'm doing, discussing it.
So you want to discuss this item here or in general? Because for clarity,
What
Attorney
item
Murphy,
is on the floor?
the item is what I just said.
Okay, then, and that's what I
144.24.
said, discussion, and I'm discussing it.
Go ahead.
Can I be recognized, Mayor?
Go ahead, trustee.
Okay, and Trustee Henyard, you probably know better than anybody that the sidewalk to be repaired is at 14424. Is that just that sidewalk?
Yes.
This question to Mr. Stacy, since concrete work is not done, I'm guessing in the winter because you're below 50 degrees or whatever the Fahrenheit temperature is supposed to be. Can't we just break the concrete up for right now, remove the concrete where there's at least just dirt there, so in the spring when we're able to do concrete work, can Public Works break up concrete and remove the rubble just for the sake of getting rid of the hump so that the person can have a level plane to get across?
Yes, if that's what you guys would like, we could take that out and put dirt there.
The problem with doing that is that once we disturb that and break the concrete up, if there's an injury, then we're more liable for the damages.
But if it's broken up, and that's what maybe I didn't state it clear. I mean, we're removing the hazard, which is the concrete that's raised. Yeah, you're breaking it up, removing it, and you have dirt. So for the next 3 months, we're going to be having snow and ice in that area anyway.
You
But I
create
think
another hazard.
Maybe in my mind, I'm not clear, because when I've seen work done, they remove the damaged concrete, and you basically just have dirt. And in this case, we'll have dirt, snow, or ice.
But the problem is you're creating another hazard, because you're digging below, you're removing the concrete, and you're removing the dirt below. Whether you level it out or not, you know, it's going to be hidden and disturbed by the snow. There has, in the city of Chicago now, either you shovel the snow or you don't shovel the snow. And when you shovel and disturb it, if you don't do it right, there's some liability there. Attorney Murphy, you want to chime in?
I wanted to follow up, please. Pardon me, attorney, with Mr. Stacy, because that's who my question was to, the expert on this. Is there a hazard in doing that? Because you said if trustees do it, but based on your expertise, you tell us, advise us what's the best way to do that. If the mayor's saying it would cause a hazard, do you agree? And if you agree, you shouldn't say, well, trustees, whatever you say. So what's your qualified opinion?
I think this is something where you really have to defer to the expertise of the department head in the field. It's impossible to talk about something like this at the board table, because everybody's speculating about what works in the field. It's up to Public Works to make that decision of what needs to be done, how it needs to be done.
I agree.
And if the cure creates a hazard that's greater than the hazard that's there now. This is hardly the thing that a policy-making board should be talking about.
Okay, so if we can get Mr. Stacy to chime in with his expert opinion.
You have to look at it first.
I think it would be a hazard to take it out of there, because once you take it out, we're going to be putting dirt in there. It's going to turn into mud. It's going to be a tripping hazard. It's going to be everything. If we can hold off until springtime comes, or I can call and check with the concrete company and see if they can come out and repair it. So if you give me a couple days, I can check into that for you.
Mayor, if I can be recognized.
No, I vote to.
Go ahead, trustee.
On this one, I would say I'm okay with approving the funds for whatever Superintendent Stacy sees necessary. Because I think the issue may be if there's funds to get it done, I'm okay with approving the funds and leaving it to Superintendent Stacy's assessment.
Any further discussion?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Go ahead.
Any event that is in the budget, I don't have any problems with it whatsoever. I would appreciate it if you can call the concrete company out to take a look to see. We've had a couple of warm days, maybe we might get a few more to approve and take care of this residents' sidewalk and the trees.
Okay, do you want an RFP done on this? Because I know before, when the other concrete company came out and wanted to get paid because of our pay habits, what do you want?
I disagree with the pay habits. You know, say that for somebody else.
Yeah, well,
okay,
we have proof.
This lady, just like the lady, Miss Scott on Dorchester with the wheelchair, needs help.
I'm
Okay, so I don't, say that part. I'm not here for that
don't
tonight.
tell me to say that.
Don't say that. I don't want to hear it.
It's documented.
Okay.
It's documented.
You wanted us to do work
It's
You want
documented.
us to pay for a sidewalk and the work hasn't been done. And it's more than one company. This is serious. The lady fell and broke her hip.
Okay,
Did you hear it?
I understand that.
Okay.
But do you want to use the concrete company that asked to get paid because we had slow paid them, or do you want an RFP?
Mayor, may I be recognized, sir?
Go ahead.
The money probably is not in the budget, but I would vote yes to get the residents' sidewalk repaired. We probably need to have a review of the budget over the next month because I don't want to start spending money that's not in the budget because there's some disturbing figures in this audit report we just got. I'm looking at $63 million deficit. So I think we need to go to the budget and take a look at it. But in this case, I would repair the
63 million?
sidewalk. It's a big deficit here.
63 million?
Yeah. Take a look at it.
That's not.
But anyway, talking about the sidewalk repair, I would definitely vote to repair the lady's sidewalk before she breaks another hip. And then we do need to talk as a board about what we're going to do. There is no money in the budget for sidewalk repairs, so I think it needs to be looked at on an individual basis, case by case basis.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. What about the tree trimming that the budget was cut on? The majority of those trees that I looked at, our boom doesn't even go that high. Okay, where are we at now? Okay, what's the vote? Any more discussion on this? Roll call.
Motion was by trustee Henyard, second by
Pearson.
Okay, yeah. Now, it looks like there's two parts on this. Fix the sidewalk and cut the tree down at 144-24 Dobson, and then they cut the tree down at 144-18 Dobson. So we're voting on both of these actions, right?
That's right.
The three actions? Okay. Wait, roll call.
Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries 6 ayes. Next thing on the agenda is the mayor's report. I have nothing tonight. Citizens address, 3 minutes. Chief is going to take.
Okay, we will enforce the 3 minutes.
Good evening, residents and everyone here tonight. I'm going to start with just letting it be known I've started a petition for this water situation. And it reads, to allow, help, permit residents or business owners to make payment and any payment arrangements that they can as it concerns the water service building in the village of Dalton. This due to community mismanagement of water bill paying and its negative impact and hardship on the residents of the village of Dalton. You all can find me at Food for Less. You can see me, for those that know where I live and know I'm not giving my address on public record. And I'm also at Fairway Monday through Friday until 3 o'clock in the evening. I'm there from 1 until 3. You all can come and you all can sign the petition. I'd like to, I actually heard the lawyer speak to something. And the only reason I'm speaking to it is we're just trying to stay away from the past. We got so much to deal with here in the present, you know, with this water bill. I saw on the 15th you had looked up some more information. And right now, you're a buffer. You're a good buffer that you sit between some of them. So we try to stay away from the past. And if I could go over to this Citgo gas station. Now, I mean, I know it's some form of revenue, and I don't care what kind of revenue it is, but when I come home and there's two parents sitting on my porch because their kids got sold some loose cigarettes, and I got videotape, and the reason I videotape is I'm tired of using a lot of my human energy. You know, and all this modern technology has made it more easier. I like things to be dealt with local. If I don't go to our local police department, it seems like I don't have any faith in them. So I'm going to turn over these videotapes tomorrow. If I don't hear from anybody in 5 days, then I'm just going to go to the sheriff, because here's my thing. They in a school zone, and I'm fully aware you all know they're in the school zone. Now today, they called the police on the woman, and guess who the police come in at? I happened to be there when they did something that wasn't good to a citizen. They're price gouging up there. That affects us a lot here. Because, food desert now, because the grocery store we got right here on Chicago Road, right across the street from the Met, that's not considered a store anymore. So all I'm asking is, y'all I don't care how y'all do it, sneaky state, because I'm calling the state tomorrow. Send somebody up there in that gas station. Other than food for less, got to know that this is where the residents got to go. We got to really work with what we got now. And I would also like to go over to Ms. Creighton. I gave her a gift tonight, and it just simply said, it's a beautiful piece of clear ware. She's always been very transparent. She has been a treasure in this community. She has been the light to some people that some of you all don't even start to know. She has helped more people than...
And we've reached our 3 minutes.
You know, so all I'm saying is, you know what, I'm asking for better days here in Dalton. Some of you all, and I'm sorry for going past the 3 minutes.
Man, we've reached our 3 minutes.
But some of you all, y'all got better than y'all. Y'all stay. The rest of y'all go.
Go ahead, sir. Good.
I just have a question. I know you was talking about snow removal.
Mm-hmm.
Between Chicago and Cottage Grove, the several businesses there during the winter, when they have a parking lot plowed, they push the snow up on the sidewalk. So if you walking, and I live right on Irving, so I see the kids, they have to step over all the piled up snow.
You said Chicago and where?
From Chicago, Sibley in Chicago, all the way back down to Cottage Grove, where the school do their sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything where the business have to do their sidewalk? Because they do their parking lot. But when they do their parking lot, the plow they don't do it. They push the snow up, whereas if you walk down the street and you get to their parking lot, you have to climb a mountain of the snow that they pushed out.
What you talking about, businesses?
Correct.
What businesses? Because between Cottage...
You got all of them.
Well, between Cottage and Sibley, you don't have any businesses on... No.
I said from Chicago. You
right.
start with the...
From Chicago?
The restaurant.
Yeah.
You got the car lot. You got the liquor store.
You mean on the south side of the street?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
You got the liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Pizza Hut.
Right.
Whatever, Domino's,
And the
whatever
shoe
it is.
place
Yeah.
and
But when they plow their street, if you watch them when we get a nice snow, I was intending to get pictures this time,
Yeah.
but they just push it up. So when the kids are going to school or anybody catch the bus and walking down Irving, they have to climb over it.
Yeah.
I know you just said it's a snow shovel, no, but I'm thinking the business should do the sidewalks.
We can have our code inspectors, notify them to, when there's the next snow.
Okay, and I get
to
some
try
pictures.
to direct it.
Then I just had one other question for this young lady. You know, when you were talking about the house and you said if you sell it, you have to pay the village a dollar. Well, if you buy the house for your kid and you fix it up for your kid, do you still owe the village?
Yeah, we want the money up front, pretty much. We want $5,000 up front.
Okay.
We don't want basically to hold a mortgage or anything
So if I
like
pay
that.
the $5,000, get the taxes, and keep the house, I don't owe you nothing else.
Correct, and you got a clear, clean
That's all.
title.
All right,
pretty
thanks.
much. Yep.
All right.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hey, Barbara.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, and residents. I'm just a little disturbed. I think we've been repeating ourselves for over 2 years. Who is the mayor here?
We got 3 or 4 of them.
Who is the mayor here? It seems like the mayor does never get any respect. He's supposed to be honored. when he's talking. Mr. Muhammad, when you asked about the bumps and things, and the mayor was talking, you said I'm directing it to an expert. You totally disrespected him when you said, I am referring it to the expert. In other words, you shut up. That's what you were telling him.
When the attorney said that he wasn't disrespectful to the
You were total. You are you were totally disrespectful, and you've been that way for over 2 years. Over 2 years. And then another thing I want to know about the media center. You say independent contractor, $75 an hour. Well, why do you need an independent contractor? What happened to this man right here? He had to be laid off. Why do you need an independent contractor for the media center? Please answer me.
Well, I'll give my answer.
Maybe I don't understand this right here.
During the budget process, it was voted by majority board to eliminate the position and make it a contractor position.
Did that cost you more money to hire a contractor for $75 per hour?
My vote, and I'm just gonna give it my vote, because once the budget had passed, we still do need the position.
Yes,
so
you do.
I'm in favor of moving forward with getting that position filled. So that's why I voted in favor of it.
Get it filled with the contractor?
With the contract, it's already been decided by the
It's
board.
already decided to let him go.
Correct. That
And
had
so
been
now
decided.
to get a
some time.
contractor, how much were you paying him?
It is a higher rate than hourly. However, the budget adjustment did save on some benefits.
Okay, sounds like a personal thing to me. I think that was all I wanted to ask. And also you said something about hiring new police officers. And you know, about 2 years ago, they wanted to hire police officers part-time, and the board never would approve it. Now we're talking about hiring new police officer. What happened to this budget? If this budget was in jeopardy, how can you hire police officers when 2 years ago, every time you said something about hiring police officers, it was always a no? Maybe
And we've reached our 3 minutes.
That will be
Okay,
discussed
well, then
at the
maybe
next
something
police.
wrong with the meeting.
Selection
That'll be
time.
on the next Police and Fire Committee meeting,
Okay, because it may be.
December 13th at 5 o'clock.
Okay, maybe there's something wrong with me, because I remember what you all did over 2 years. Every time it came up, you said no. Now you're saying higher, and then now you're saying $75 for a contractor meeting.
Ma'am, we've reached the 3 minutes.
Okay, then you let this person go. Seems like a personal thing to me.
It's election time.
And totally disrespectful to the mayor. I don't think the mayor is the mayor.
Comes with the job, Barbara, so.
Good evening, everyone. This board passed an ordinance for transparency. I'm a little disappointed this evening because with the financial challenges that this village has, there was a presentation on an audit tonight. We as citizens had nothing to look at. And I think that's wrong, because I have a handout here. I don't know where it came from, that the board is asking for what looks like the impact on the community, a 3.33% increase on taxes. So I'm wondering, what is our return on the investment? Okay, we're talking about our two major funds have deficits, and yet we're talking about things that require more finances. Where are you going to get it from? Okay. Now, I think that this village has been more than accommodating, trying to help and work with the board. But when it comes to transparency, just my opinion, don't want to cause anything, but I have an opinion that maybe the transparency should start with the board, okay? Because it seems like there's a transparency issue up here, my second question is the financial. I heard someone mention Ms. Redmond. I heard the Gasparic firm. Are they doing the same job? How do we justify that? Okay, when are we going to get someone that's going to really look out for the finances of this village. We had a full-time employee, that employee is gone. So now you got 2 part-time employees. Are they putting in the same amount of hours? Are they really looking out for what is going to cause us not to continue the pattern that we're in now? And I think that the only thing that's going to cause that is that you have to have someone responsible for the finances. When is that person going to be hired? Secondly, and this is my last statement here, some of the board members have said that there's a need for an administrator. Where's that? Is there a need for an administrator? If so, when will we get one? We cannot continue to go the route that we're going, because we as taxpayers, yeah, it only looks like a single-digit increase, but those of us that are on fixed incomes, 3.33% affects our standard of living, okay? So I would hope that this board, under the crisis that we have now, would do something that hasn't happened in a while, and that is think about us as residents. Thank you.
Good evening, board, mayor, the trustees, distinguished citizens. I'm Cleo Jones, the Dalton Park District Board President. And I'm here tonight because I have a complaint. On November 1st, I received a call from my wife stating that our water was shut off. So she said, well, I'm going to the site and look on the site for the village and see exactly what's going on with the water bill. So she went to the site and she told me that the water bill is $405. I said, well, let's go ahead and pay it. Let's not raise any fuss or fight about the bill. So we went ahead and paid the bill. We submitted full payment of the bill. The next day, we called the water department because it was kind of late. Called the water department, and I completed and submitted a waiver. We executed the waiver. So once the waiver was completed, all the due diligence was done. Upon talking to the clerk at the water department, she said, there's no problem, President Jones. We had that water turned back on. So Friday, November the 2nd, I got home very late. Got home about 8:30, because I had to run my daughter around. So once I arrived home, my wife called and said, you check and see if the water was on. So I checked, the water was turned on, and no problem. I thought nothing of it. Monday, November the 5th, around 8:30, my wife saw flashing lights in front of the house. So she went to the window. There was a village pickup truck was parked in front of our house. So she said she noticed there was a gentleman sitting inside the vehicle. He wasn't moving, just sitting there. So minutes later, a black SUV pulls up. Then a white gentleman gets out. A white guy gets out. She said, this gentleman right here, Matt Stacy. She identified him as. So once he exited his vehicle, the village guy got out of his vehicle. She said he immediately pulled a long rod out of the vehicle, stuck it into the ground, wiggled it around, and she said that the white guy went to the side of the house, turned the water nozzle. She said after he turned the water nozzle, he went in his pocket, pulled his cell phone out. She said immediately she was going downstairs, and when she got downstairs, she noticed the 2 vehicles had pulled away from the house and went into the alley. They parked into the alley across the street. So let's talk this thing about this. A waiver was signed, everything was done, the water was turned on Friday, the guys come back out on Monday, and we're trying to figure out what was going on. Tuesday, November the 6th, that was the election day. Election day, all right? I was working the polls over at the Park District with a few of the trustees was over there as well, a few of the mayor's crew was over there also. So a van pulls up, blocking the entrance of the Park District. The trustees, they was there. I immediately went, the mayor came up, told the mayor he can't.
So we've reached the 3 minutes.
Okay, but I gotta finish this up real quick.
So we've reached the 3 minutes.
Right, okay. All right, here you go.
Let them finish.
Okay, here we go. So,
Mayor?
Go ahead.
okay, once the van pulls up, I told the mayor that you can't park there, blocking the entrance with all that literature across your vehicle. The mayor approached me, and him and I had a few choice words. The mayor said, I have a bone to pick with you. I say, okay, what's
That's
the bone?
not true.
No, no,
Just
no,
tell
no,
the truth.
no, no,
Tell the
no,
truth.
man.
That is not
No, no,
true.
okay, I had a bone. I had a
not
bone to
true.
pick with you. Let me finish. You said your name showed up on the cutoff list. I said, oh, wow, really? Okay, my name showed up on the cutoff list. I said, okay, really? Then he said, not only that, your water was back on and no one know how it got back on. I said to him, that is not my problem. I say, all the proper documents was executed. The water was paid in full. A waiver was done. I got home, the water was on. So that's not my problem, that's your problem, and we had a few choice words, and I moved on.
Why don't you tell the truth?
Let me finish. After the mayor and I had a few choice words, Saturday morning, Saturday morning, I get this in the mail. This is a ticket for $1,500 for tampering with water. Tampering with water. So let me continue here. Tampering with water. My bill was paid in full. Waiver was executed. How did the water get back on? I'm just reading something in his little rebuttal that states that instead of making sure the water was turned off, the Public Works Department turned the water on. This is in his rebuttal. Okay? Let's follow me. Okay? But wait, this is not the first time I have got harassed by the mayor. I had my house invaded on because of the fact they said proper permits wasn't used. I had a contractor come in to put in a door. My wife wanted a door changed. A door. It took him 10 minutes. As the contractor was exiting the house, the code enforcers bust into the house. Like the police. Searching the house, checking for the inspection, because where is Mr. Hill at? Mr. Hill was one of those inspectors. He's been my friend for 20-some years. He told me, he said, this was executed by the mayor. And I'll let my wife finish up telling you why it was executed by the mayor.
I don't even get involved in the inspections. You approached me Saturday in Olivia's and started asking me about your water bill. I told you I had nothing to do with it. And you're gonna stand up here and lie on me.
Everybody
and tell me
lying.
that I told him to do that.
Let's citizen address. My wife can tell you the rest.
On the day that Lamont let us know that inspectors were getting ready to go to our house, my husband called me. I was getting ready for work. He said, baby, hurry up and go up there and get a little permit because they tripping about the door. I go up there. I wait in line. Mind you, nobody in the village knows me. Most of you all probably don't know I'm Cleo's wife. So I'm standing in line, waiting to get my permit. A lady is standing in front of me. The clerk behind the counter, after another inspector came through, she says to the what is he called? The code inspector. She yells out my address. Did you get to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so? I'm looking up like, that's my address she talking about. I'm like, why is she talking about? Because she said the mayor said that has to be done ASAP.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I don't interfere with inspections.
You all never see me here.
I even helped you.
I took off of work to be here. I missed a day of work to be here. I work 2 to 10 every day. I'm never here. This is the politician. I don't get involved with that. But the things that he is doing is totally wrong. Now, explain to us this $1,500 ticket. Our bill was paid in full that Friday. Now, if someone in your village know you bogus, which they know, you think they're actually going to tell you who turned the water on? No.
And Mr. Hill, he lost his job because of the fact that he said that it was information given out, and he said that
He had a meeting
with Stan Irvin.
with all the inspectors.
Stan Irvin dismissed him and said that you know what happened. And when I was running for trustee, this is not the only thing that happened. I was pulled over by a brigade of police. That's when Chief Franklin was here. And I gave him a call and said, what's going on? And the fact is that when they pulled me over, it was one police officer when I exited the vehicle. He said, oh, that's Coach Cleo. What's going on? He said, well, your vehicle's reported stolen. I said, oh, wow. I wonder who did that.
This is the thing.
You asked me to come over to your
These are the things that we
house.
have been going through. We pay taxes here, almost $6,000 a year in taxes. Now, whatever's going on politically, this man right here don't do that. I know he do. Point period blank. Now, we have a $1,500 water bill for tampering with water. How are we tampering with water? That's all I have to say about that.
And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Ask
Okay.
Okay.
Mr.
On-
President, we'll have to look at making you whole.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, on November 1st, Thursday, the Water Department sent over a shut-off sheet on October 31st for us to do on November 1st. On that list was your address. Our guys go through, they do their shut-offs, whatever, you know, if they shut them off, they shut them off. If it was either Thursday or Friday, you went and paid your bill, the Water Department called over and said, this is Cleo from the Park District, he's requesting his water to be turned on, and he paid his bill in full. I said, well, they're stacked up today, they got a full schedule. I said, it won't be turned on until Monday. So come Monday, the crew that is on the truck, Monday through Friday, it's the same two people all the time, so we don't have no mix-up. The same person went out there on Monday. I said, wait for him to get out there. When the white guy, John Conway, the supervisor, was out there, I said, you wait for him. John went out there, met them out there. They put the key in to see if it was turned on. It was turned on. We did not touch your water. We did not turn it back on Friday. We did not turn it on Saturday. Therefore, it is a village ordinance for taproom water public water supply is $1,500.
Okay.
Along with any other residents that John and myself had ticketed for turning their water back on. So how your water got on, I don't know. We were told to go out there on Monday to turn it on.
Okay, whoa. Okay, here's the deal. What happened to the water notification? What happened to the final water bill? We got no notification, no final bill, none of that. So what happened to that? Since you know what's going on, can you tell me what happened to the water bill and what happened to the final notice of shut off? In fact, the bill just turned off.
Okay, the billing does not come out of my department. It comes out of the water department next door. But any final bill or anything, they just send over a list on who is delinquent and who to shut off. That's all I deal with.
So you have a waiver to turn the water on, but you have a waiver to turn it off. So what's going on with that? You know, the fact is that you can come onto my property, and without any waiver, like I said, I just read into the mayor's rebuttal and stated that his water was shut on without any waivers.
It was not cut on. That's the whole problem.
Okay, then that was a mistake. So somebody came over Friday evening and turned our water back on. So you're going to give us a $1,500 ticket for a bill that was paid in full?
I didn't give you a $1,500 ticket.
You truly think someone here, you truly think someone here
I tell you
is
what-
going to tell you, wait. You truly think someone here is going to tell you what they done, knowing that they're going to be expecting harassment, they're going to be expecting revengeful things coming back out them? Because I talked to the employees here. Oh my God. They got stories to tell. Some of the employees here.
Well, some of your employees got stories
So
to tell too.
here we go.
Like they told me.
Here we go.
Like they told me you have a wrench over there to turn the water back on.
No,
Some
no,
of
I
your
don't.
employees talk to me too.
No, Rich, no.
The Park District does.
No, I don't use the Park District. I
District
do
does.
not use the Park District. Anything. So, no. So, once again, here we go. Slinging the mud, slinging the stone. We talking, have a talk. No, I'm not going to your child's play. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next speaker.
All right,
We
Mr.
spent
Boyd.
12 minutes on this.
Can we get a copy of that ticket, that $1,500 ticket, Cleo?
It goes to court.
Can we get a copy of the ticket? Can you give the whole board a copy? Thank you.
Mr. Bowles.
Wow. Okay. Man, I don't even know what to say after that. What I do want to say is I recognize something. The last board meeting, I asked the question to the mayor, what's the vision? What direction are we going from here? As the other speaker got up and said about, we just had an audit. We didn't have any information. It was given to us, just numbers was blurted out to us, but we couldn't follow along. And he skipped a lot of pages and went to this and went to that. Again, I want to know to the mayor, where do we go from here? It's not about attacking you. It's not about what is your vision that you're going to communicate, relay to us. You ain't got to say it all,
but give us an overview of how we get out of this situation. Because again, we got all of this stuff coming up, and our money is still being spent, but our services are few. We're not getting what we deserve. And then I can't speak, but I don't think anybody would come and say the things that they say in regards to you if it's not true. Everybody can't be talking about you, Mayor, and none of it's true. That's highly unlikely. I'm not saying, because I got faults, and I accept if you say something about me, okay, I probably did it. But when people talk about you, Mayor, you always deny everything, and everything can't be a lie. So I'm just asking you, accountability-wise, there's no accountability. Every time Public Works got something to say, you stop, turn the mic off, you talk to Matt Stacy, or Matt Stacy got to get confirmation from you. He is a leader. He is the head of a department. He should be able to make decisions based on the community's needs without your input, because that's what we're paying him to do. If he needs your opinion, then you need to be doing his job. Every time it's something like that, we need people that's going to be accountable to what they are being paid to do. And we need people to be accountable for what they are elected to do. So I'm asking you, as the mayor, what is your vision for getting us past this crisis that Dalton is in?
Change this board. Change this board. Change this board.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Change the board.
Right.
Now elaborate on that. Give me something else, because we can change the board.
We running for election. You know the election's coming up in February, and you know what? You know what? You had nothing but good things to say about me until you asked me to run on my slate, and I said I already had the slate, and from that point, it's been nothing but negative. Okay. So let me tell you this.
Okay.
Let me tell you this.
Yep, say it.
I told you if you want to know my vision for the village, it's going to take more than 5 minutes. Okay? So come on down. You had 2 weeks. You asked me that 2 weeks ago. My office door is always open.
But it ain't for me, Mayor. It's for the village. You should be happy to
We're
say
past the 3
what
minutes.
but the mayor's just talking to me. Look, Mayor. You should be happy to convey your vision for this village as the mayor. It shouldn't be, I have to come to you. This is a public forum. People that can't get to this meeting should already know what your vision is. Because again, a man without vision, the people will perish. You don't have a vision. The only vision that you have has been a vision for yourself. Because that's all I can see.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
We're past the 3 minutes.
All right, that's good.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
Mayor, could we have the representative from the Caspera Group to answer that concern that everyone has about the audit? If somebody could give Ms. Blanco a microphone just to answer quickly why we did not receive the audit report. And if someone could give her a mic, please, to address that quickly, because that's a big question that wasn't answered.
I know everyone was asking, and from the auditor standpoint, the auditing firm, Lauterbach and Amon, which isn't my firm, but they don't release the audit report until it's presented to the board, so that's why you wouldn't have had it in advance. But I can tell you that the audit report will be available online at the Cook County Treasurer's website no later by Friday. So we can get it. So, I mean, they could provide copies, but the auditors don't release it in advance. That's their decision. That's not our decision, but that's why they're not here.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Blanco.
Good evening, and let me disagree with her. When I go to a school board meeting and there's an audit, there is a rough draft meeting, a rough draft copy that we in the audience get. Okay, that was their decision, but I like to have a rough copy in my hands when I'm reading something and someone is voting on it. So she could say that, and that's fine and well, but we pay taxes in the village of Dalton to have a rough copy at the taxpayers' accessibility. So my next question is that, may I ask, are we doing a tree lighting ceremony? I am totally disappointed because every year we have done a tree lighting ceremony, and I did talk with Mary Kay, and that we weren't able to do it the day after, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and everybody asked, why did we not do the tree lighting ceremony? Ms. Creighton, I can't answer that. Can you all answer that, please?
First of all, Mrs. Creighton, I want to apologize to you. We did speak, hoping that we could reschedule the tree lighting ceremony, and I meant to get back with you and let you know personally that it did not happen. We had too late approached the Thornridge High School band. Frankly, that was due to the fact that Ms. Scott has been handling it in recent years, and so those of us that are left here scrambled to try and get it together on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We could not make that happen with Thornridge High School band, and as you know better than I, the next 2 Saturdays, the band was also not available,
Yes.
which takes us to the middle of December, and at that point, we decided that with the tree ready to go, and the difficulty we have in getting the word out to residents, I certainly understand that problem, that even if we had it, we were worried that the turnout would not do it justice.
Well, I mean, are we lighting the tree? Are we putting the lights on the tree?
It is lit.
It's lit. So it is lit. So you know what? You guys keep saying that. Now, before, I just want to clarify some stuff. We had a contractor before. I really would like to clarify some things, that we could still put notices of meetings and everything else up on the Channel 4. We don't need a person. You can go, who's working for the mayor? Wait, what is Mary doing? Mary's not your assistant?
Yes, Mary does a lot of things. She does all the municipal collections, the notices for the red light tickets and things like that. So, I mean, she can't do it all.
But my thing is that you don't have to do it all. You can have that person put in the information on Channel 4. I just think that we're being held hostage under a political umbrella, and that's unfair to the residents in the city of Dalton. I really do. We've done it before. I appreciate my 3 minutes, but they used some of my 3 minutes because they answered my questions.
That was on your question, Mrs. Craig. The 3
Okay,
minutes is up.
thank you. But I
Mrs.
do
Craig, the 3
feel
minutes is
that
up.
we should be able to place information on regular meetings on Channel 4. It doesn't have to be blank. It doesn't have to.
Thank you.
Okay.
How's everybody doing today? This is Edward Steve, former media director. Ms. Creighton is just not that simple, just to go put something on Channel 4. It's technical. It's a technical aspect to it. Anybody just can't go down there and put something on Channel 4. So it's a technical aspect to it. I want to clear something out about last meeting. There's a few meetings I missed because I got laid off, and that audio system back there that didn't have, anybody can go back there and open it up and turn it on. That's not locked. It's never locked. Any trustee with any type of media experience or technical experience can go back there, open it up, cut it on, switch the input. So it was never, I seen last time it was said that we can't turn it on, or that one person couldn't turn it on because he wasn't there. Contractor, as far as contractor, my budget always had a room for independent contractors. So if I couldn't cover something, I could always hire another videographer to cover it. So if there was a board meeting I couldn't cover, it was something in the village that I couldn't cover, I can get it covered. See, I understand that they made it everything a contractor based now because it was personal towards me, but that's fine. But I'm going to be here today. I'm going to be here covering the board meetings, recording the board meetings, and start programming on Channel 4. But it's just not that simple. Anybody just can't go down there and just put something on Channel 4. It is not. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. I'd like to make a motion for,
But the statement I want to clear for you. You're wrong on that wasn't locked. It was locked. I
Right.
even tried to open that, and that's when the mayor was saying that we couldn't use the mics and the mics weren't working. I tried to open it and it was locked.
No,
I
there's
told
no-
Pearson to open it. It was locked.
There's no key for that.
There's no key for it. They
It
can't
did
lock
not
it.
open.
Maybe
So
I
I'm
just
just
tried
telling you, I
hard
just
like
want to clear that up because you're saying it wasn't
there's
locked,
no
but
key.
it was.
You have to push
We
it a
could
certain
not,
way.
We couldn't get it open.
Okay.
So I just wanted you to know.
Okay. But I'm just saying that maybe you just didn't turn it the right way, but there's no lock for it. There's no lock on it.
I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to,
Okay, that's
Okay.
on top of that one.
clear.
So motion.
Order, please. They're still
A motion
conducting
to adjourn.
business. Order,
Second.
please.
I have that Motion by trustee Denton, second by trustee House?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that'll work.
Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton? Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Motion
Attorney-
carries. This meeting is adjourned.
Attorney Murphy.
Ten to 10.
Maurice.